Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy.
Big Drink T, living his best life. We ain't muted, partner. Gary B in the house.
They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing.
Gary, what's up, Gary?
Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy.
It never gets old.
With a mask on. Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing.
You got your nose out, buddy. Indeed. Creative Genius Toilet Bowl Earth on the remix. Drunken activism, Bentonian drunken street activism. How's my audio in comparison to the video, by the way?
Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing.
You got your nose out, buddy. Got to stop before it starts over, right? What's happening, everybody? Benton here. Thank you so much for joining me. That reminds me of that Scagnetti on Scagnetti from my favorite movie of all time, Natural Born Killers, if y'all recall. Rest in peace to the late Sizemore, Tom Sizemore. I believe he passed. Yeah, Benton Clips, that's right. I'm the Benton Clips now. Actually, TBE made that one. I guess if it blows up, we'll have to maybe pay him some royalties. Okay, good. Yeah, I'd like to be able to talk over videos, and God forbid some of these bozos come in here and want a panel. I want to be able to just talk all over the top of them. I'll just mute up and talk. Anybody remember them days? How? It is my distinct honor and pleasure to address you fine folks today. Coming to you live from a public library. Yeah, nice job, TBE. Indeed, sir. I'd like to, maybe one of these days, if this channel starts making some loot, I'd like to pay old TBE for music. He could make the music for us. I ain't trying to deal with them copyrights. Indeed. I don't know how much I've got today, so might try to keep it to a tight 3 hours, but y'all know me. Y'all know me. It might go a little farther than that. Hope everybody's well today. Indeed. I was going to go get some tires today, and man, these people don't want to work. It's like they don't like money. I went to one used tire shop, and I was like, yeah, man, a whole set. And he said, a whole set? He said it like it was some shit he never heard of. I said, man, ain't this the tire shop? You talking to me like this is a foreign concept. He said, we prefer to do one at a time. I said, man, you can put them on however you want. I need a set of tires, Jack. Meanwhile, the clutch is on its last legs, so the tires are good enough to get me. Like the tires ain't going to outlast the clutch at this point driving around town. So, and I got enough money to tow that bitch back to the clubhouse. But we ain't leaving town. We ain't leaving town. Yeah, Bentonian. Drunken street activism. I reckon I was somewhere general vicinity of I don't know, 0.18-ish. The old days. Not the good old days, but the old days. Now, I've been talking about these alt cannabinoids. Yeah, that was CBO on the thumbnail, by the way. I don't know why he didn't put his little logo on there. I guess he didn't want to be associated with me. Yep, best thumbnails in the business. I guess it's a thumbnail now. Indeed. Shout out to Drew. Good to see you look within. Oh yeah, it looks like the government, looks like the DEA is, the feds are about to declare all Delta 8 and everything, all the alternate so-called cannabinoids, alt cannabinoids, about to be phased out, it appears. I was wanting to talk to Christos about that. Boy, that THC been going hard. Yeah, I mean, damn, dude. What is wrong with these people? I can't call it. And then my preferred tire shop, who most likely has a set for me, they don't open till like 9. And in my mind, it's like, shit, I got to go stream. But then the more and more this clutch is acting up, I said, fuck it. There's really no point in getting tires. I got a spare, so shit, I can just change the tire. It's not like I'm getting on the freeway around here, so. What? Man, these people are fucking dumb as hell, man. They're dumb as hell. Want to talk to me like I'm dumb. And went in the laundromat, got my laundry did. And that lady in there, been working in there since they opened that place. It's downtown by where I used to work. If anybody remembers the tour, the pitch black early morning tour around this town, and nobody could see anything. But general vicinity of where I said I used to work, there's a laundromat over there. In fact, I used to stay at that motel where the laundromat is. So that lady's in there playing them gambling machines. It's impossible. Can't win in the long run. And you know it ain't regulated, so God, who even knows how much it's paying out, right? But here's a video I wanted to get into. I actually haven't watched this yet, but this guy is he's kind of goofy looking, but he seems to know his stuff. I actually learned about the THCO in part from this guy, the Dreddy here. He's a bit of a bozo, but he seems to know his stuff. So we're going to listen to this guy talking about how the feds, I'm assuming, again, I haven't seen this, but I'm assuming he's going to address how the feds finna ban, when they've already said, as far as they're concerned, THCO is Schedule 1, but I'm talking about Delta 8, all the naturally occurring, they're going to take them out as well. Oh, that's what you're asking. Why are they going to do that? Yeah. I don't know. We can read some articles if you want. I mean, and I'm not trying to pick on you, look with them, but you're saying that as if they would have as if the government would have some kind of logical, coherent, good reason for doing such a thing. Yep, most gingers absolute bozos. Yeah, I don't know that they was redheads, but anyway. But yeah, look within. I mean, and you talk about people thinking that cannabis, actual what we might refer to as marijuana, the flower of the female plant. People keep thinking that's going to get legalized at the federal level. Nothing can happen until marijuana, so-called, is removed from Schedule 1 with the rest of the cannabinoids. Nothing can happen. Oh, no, you're good, look within. I'm just feeling a little froggy. No need for apologies. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Again, I'm not picking on the person. Your comment sparked a conversation. So, in fact, you're helping out the broadcast. And I am the incredible shrinking man. I don't know if I showed my video yet. Benton, the incredible shrinking man. I apparently have been cursed thinner. Not quite sure what I did to bring that on. Anyway, let's see what the Dreddy bozo. Oh, gingers. That's right. He's got red hair. I see. Yep. I understand now.
This news story is going to change a lot of things because this news story relates to so many things. Check this out. The DEA considers Delta 8 THC product federally illegal when synthesized from CBD. Official says in newly revealed email. Holy no way. It says if there were any lingering questions about the DEA's position on the scheduling status of Delta 8 THC, an attorney recently dug up an email from a top official that makes it perfectly clear. When synthesized from legal CBD, the agency considers Delta 8 THC to be a prohibited controlled substance. Damn, son. The market for Delta 8...
Well, and apologies, but lest I forget, let me promote this fella's channel if I may. Trying not to get, trying to stay, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but let's see. This is at, what is this actually? Let's go to his main page. Yeah, at Strange Show, 140K subs. Check him out if you're so inclined. I don't watch a lot of these style of channels, so I would just assume since I bothered to actually subscribe to this one, it's probably halfway decent. So I would recommend it based on what I've seen so far, potentially. So there he is, at Strange Show. Let's get back into the video.
The product has expanded rapidly in recent years following the federal legalization of hemp and its naturally extracted derivative.
Well said, Gary.
CBD. The intoxicating cannabinoid is also at the center of several lawsuits challenging state policies that have banned its sale. Attorney Shane Pennington said in a post on his Substack on drugs Friday that he was reviewing those lawsuits when he came across...
Well, and apologies again, but I must necessarily pause when I have something to say. But, for someone who may believe that America is functioning based on the Constitution and that, in fact, this is a republic and, the people elect the representatives and the representatives do the will of the people and all of this. Well, and then especially, the balance between the federal government and the individual state governments, lest we forget this 2018 Farm Bill. Well, yes, no, I agree, Christos. I agree, Christos, but they're banning all of it, sir. So all of it. Anything that came from CBD initially, it's a wrap, partner. But yeah, if you want to get up here sometime, Christos, anytime you'd like, I want to get into it. Yeah, the DH, I agree. Just regular D8 is trash. Couldn't agree more. I had one vape of it, and I said never again. Of course, they put it in just about everything. What happened here? Hang on. Sorry, Big L was trying to call me. So, yes, THCO. I haven't got to try the P yet, although I had a blend that had THCP in it. But anyway, Christos, it's all about to go by the wayside. So Arkansas, my home state, banned it already. So I'm going to try to see if one of my partners will, while it's still, while these companies are still shipping it, I'd like to stock up. But yeah, so the Farm Bill got passed through Congress, which, based on it as written, 0.03% or less of Delta 9 THC. That's the standard set by the legislature at the federal level. Now we've got the DEA coming in and saying, well, as far as we're concerned, that's all Schedule 1. So hypothetically, let's just say all the lawmakers somehow, in a fantasy world said, okay, we're just going to legalize cannabis. Guess what would happen? Or marijuana. The feds would just say, well, it's Schedule 1, so I don't know what to tell you. Now, whether or not the feds decide to actually go and arrest individual producers or individual Americans, so like if a state says that this is legal, just like with the medical system in a state or just like the rec in a state, the feds have left that alone recently. Now, back in the day, they were fucking with medical out west quite a bit, if anybody's aware of that history. Even after, medical went into place, the feds were still fucking with people. That was mostly seizures of product and cash, from what I can recall, mostly. But certainly the days of just going on a website on the regular web and ordering these products and having them shipped to one across the country, most likely over with in the near future. Yep. Indeed. So that's probably a wrap, but yep, time to stock up. In fact, I stocked up because Arkansas banned it. I got those vapes I've been showing on cam. I got I don't even know how many, but I got some for like $9 a piece. So anyway, back to the vid. Click the buttons, old man.
It's a 2021 letter from a DEA and Chemical Evaluation Section chief that clarified the agency's interpretation of existing statute. Arriving at Delta-8 THC by chemical reaction starting from CBD makes the Delta-8 THC synthetic and therefore not exempted by the agricultural...
All right, airplane mode. I'm not going to be on the phone while I'm doing these.
Legalize hemp. Any quantity of Delta-8 THC obtained by chemical means is a controlled substance.
But just for the record, every time they said Delta-8, they meant everything. They didn't just mean specifically Delta-8. They're gonna say all of it. If it came from CBD and was altered, now presumably it's so expensive that this is not going to continue to happen. But presumably it would still be legal to get to actually strip out whatever little tiny amount of each individual, was existing in the plant. It's what they're arguing is that the synthesis itself causes it to become Schedule 1. There you go. Hey, what's up, Dallas Don Juan in the house? I think this fella here, my partner, my truck driving partner, I think he's getting mistaken for this Don Juan DeMarco, and I myself made that mistake. So just for the record, people were saying that Big L, this is Big L here, his comments on the screen. He has not been to the Zetetic Warrior channel, but perhaps he will someday. I don't know. Pretty hilarious bit involving the Jays, the Little Hats, on Zetetic Warriors channel this morning. Let's see if we can actually make it through a 5-minute video at 1.5x without me. I'm going to set the record for pauses here. No, sir. Negative, Gary Baxter. Negative. In fact, decarboxylation refers to the process by which THC is activated and can then it becomes active for eating it. That's what decarboxylation means. FYI. There you go. Yeah, Don Juan DeMarco's a different person. Thank you, Christos. This is why, build bridges to the youth, by the way. Us old folks don't necessarily... in a former life, I probably knew how to check where people were from when I was in IT, but at this point, I guess I've lost interest. So, what's up, Sunshine Time? Good to see you. My accent seems to be getting worse of late. I don't know what's going on. Cali Medical Era, pre-2010, those were big money bags for growers. Yeah, man. Indeed, sir, indeed.
different than how we've been acting so far. Because so far, we've been acting like, oh, this is CBD. This is a CBD derivative. It's not synthetic since it's derived, you know, just like through heat or something from something that's naturally occurring. Not that big of a deal. So we can sell it everywhere. It can be everywhere. And this same thing has been applying to all kinds of shit, like THCA, HHC, THCO, like all kinds of alt cannabinoids that you may have heard of. All this new stuff that's been popping up over these past couple of years. And this did say that this was an old email he just found from 2001. But even though this is from 2001, that's not good that this is their official stance that they
Okay.
wrote to tell.
See, that's why I like this guy, because I haven't actually read the article yet, although certainly I will. So that's why I like this dude, because he caught the relevant information. And this is why I don't use videos, generally speaking, for any sort of information source. So, in fact, I think I skimmed the article and I missed the relevant information. So, I don't know necessarily that it's going to get banned anytime soon. Apparently, they said this back in the day. This is an old email, apparently. He said 2001, though. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this now for myself.
Tell someone, because
2001.
the farm bill that changed all of this is about to expire. This is an article from
What?
JBiz Daily that is U.S. Hemp Roundtable.
I didn't know that either.
shares goals for 2023 farm bill. So sometime soon, they're going to vote for a new farm bill. The U.S. farm bill that had legalized commercial.
Okay, well, it is going to get banned either way, because then now's the say I see what's happening. Now's the Congress's chance to fill in this loophole and be more specific about what they're defining as hemp. What's up, Slow Boy? Good to see you, as always.
To expire at the end of September. As members of Congress craft replacement legislation, they will assess the needs of domestic agriculture, including hemp farmers and producers. With 30 other cannabis organizations, they submitted a list of 9 priorities for the House and Senate committee.
Requiring the FDA to regulate hemp extracts such as CBD, which may not be a bad thing. I don't know yet. Indeed, Ginger Ridge, Cali 96, Oregon 98, and I don't remember for Colorado.
Involved in creating the farm bill to consider, and those 9 priorities are bolstering Department of Ag.
I think Oregon may have voted on it first, though. I'm not exactly sure, and shot it down, but I have to go back and look. My memory sometimes is not that great in those areas.
Hemp program through funding and dedicated staff. They want
Orthodox vaporware
administration to require to regulate hemp extracts such as CBD. So that would change CBD to being an FDA regulated thing. So that means much more heavily guarded and tested.
Oh, look at this. Those priorities included promoting hemp research. And I, by the way, have no problem with this. It's more of just the way this is. Actually, this is fascinating. I'm going to wait till he reads this. I have a lot more to say about this than I realized.
Then, approval process, which wouldn't be a bad thing probably. And they want to address THC levels for hemp. This is another big one. Addressing THC.
Oh, I think he skipped it. He completely skipped that one. Wow, he didn't even talk about it. Whoa.
Wouldn't be a bad thing probably. And they want to address THC.
He completely cut out the part where he talked about anything involving race. Okay, so it says promoting hemp research at historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, tribal colleges, and Hispanic serving institutions. And some of you may know that in my hometown of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, is University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, which is one of those aforementioned HBCUs. In fact, it plays football in the same conference as Southern and Jackson State, although I think Jackson State might have moved out of that conference. I don't know. I'm not into sports anymore. But basically, the actual, historically black colleges you may have heard of are more or less all in the same conference for football in my hometown. UAPB Golden Lions, holla. But what's interesting to me is my dad moved to this town of Monticello, Arkansas, and that's where University of Arkansas at Monticello is. Before it was named that, though, it was called Arkansas Agricultural, Mechanical, and Negro, Arkansas AM&N. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that maybe when it comes to growing of crops, the government might choose to do such a thing, right? I would just be against discrimination. Me personally. Certainly no honkies should be held back from growing hemp or all of these things, in my opinion.
THC levels for hemp. This is another big one. Addressing THC levels for hemp. So that means
Jay Dyers? Yeah.
0.3% shit ain't working. Because we just said THC, and we didn't know about how THC works. We didn't know the THCA is a thing. We didn't know what we were talking about really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we had a few years now. So
they never do.
We see that this fucking weed market is popping online and through
Stock
the
up.
and we don't like it. And so now we're going to change it.
They just want to be the reapers of the benefits. They just want the money, I think.
Sure. I'm sure that's a pretty big motivator. I'm sure that's a pretty solid motivator.
They don't want you. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into it.
Wait, people are buying lots of stuff and we're not getting money?
Yeah, that's fucked up. How are people buying lots of stuff and we're not getting all the money? We need to get an extra tax.
Yeah, I think that's There's a tad oversimplifying there, sir. But anyway, I guess that's about the end of it. I'm not listening to these bozos talk about the government or conspiracies. That's not going to happen. Then we got this fella. Anybody seen this channel? Kali Muscle. This guy used to be on roids. He was a professional bodybuilder. And he said he's gone viral here and there for his shenanigans. Well, he had this Widowmaker heart attack, and now he's at least, I can't say that he's gone fruitarian necessarily, but he's making a bunch of videos along the lines of fruitarian, which I think he's going to do pretty well with it. Now, I know his core audience probably hates it. And in fact, he even made a video said, I'm never eating meat, although I'm sure that's not true. But the thing is, since he's big and muscular still, yeah, that too. Yeah, that's an open secret, right, with the bodybuilding community. But where I'm going with this is he doesn't look like I look. See, I look like what a fruitarian would most likely look like. This is like end-stage fruitarianism. I'm damn near breatharian, by the way. So I find this fascinating, not because I have any interest in him as a content creator, but yes, indeed, lightweight. That's right, Ronnie Coleman. And although his body's completely wrecked, as we know if you've seen him on Rogan, and that was a few years ago. Christos killing it in the chat down there. But yeah, Ronnie Coleman. Indeed, indeed. Of course, Arnold's the GOAT, I have to say. IMO, but no, whatever. Ain't nothing but a peanut. Yeah. Yo, Ronnie's a trip. I remember, because I used to be into weightlifting, so I wasn't into bodybuilding for me, but I got into the keeping up with the sport, the contest. I guess it's not a sport. And that one year at the big competition, I guess it's Mr. Olympia, that Jay Cutler was trying to beat. He wasn't able to beat Ronnie, and he's a white guy, and he showed up blacker than Ronnie. He had on so much fake tan. He showed up blacker than Ronnie, dude. It was hilarious. We might have to look at that now. Jay Cutler blacker than Ronnie. How about that? I bet that's a video. All right, get over here. Shout out to 31 in the house. So at least get that up to 33 now. One of my favorite numbers. Oh yeah, Jay Cutler blacker than Ronnie. Huh? No, maybe not. Maybe the algorithm thinks I'm being racist. Oh yeah. Anyway, good times. Maybe this is it. Yeah, it's Ronnie. And that's Cutler on the right. He's not blacker, but he's damn near there. You got one white boy up there. That's fucking hilarious. All right, 33 in the house. Thank you. Axis Rat Blood. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Anyway, let's get off of that before they smite us. Before we get smote. I submitted whatever IDs the AdSense wanted today, so I guess they're mailing a PIN number, a PIN or something to my mama's house. So we'll see if they're going to pay me or not. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop this video. Forget y'all can still hear that. All right, that's gone. And for anybody that may not have seen it, let's check out my new short on this channel. If anybody, although I guess I'm wasting all the views over here, right? But anyway, this is my new short here on the channel.
Looking dumb as hell with a mask on.
Already, Christos.
Looking dumb as hell with a mask on. They got the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's infected.
So right off the
Uh-oh. Accidentally scrolled. You can tell I don't use TikTok, or I don't vertical scroll.
Looking dumb as hell with a mask on.
All right, Gary.
Looking dumb as hell with a mask on.
Get them chores
Got
did.
the little kids in masks. Y'all know that mask don't do nothing. Hell, he got his nose out. Hey, if this mask did anything, it's ineffective. You got your nose out, partner. It ain't doing nothing. You got your nose out, buddy.
Anyway, that's my new short. More to come, perhaps. More to come. Rob enjoyed it. Shout out to Mr. Cleveland. Cleveland's such an OG. Sometimes we forget to greet Mr. Cleveland. So let's give him his props. Anyway, let's go to I'm Never Eating Meat over here. And let me promote the channel if I haven't done so yet. This is at Kali Muscle, I guess how you say this. Kali Muscle. 3.47 million. Yeah, that's TBE on the. It's TBE on the. He made that video actually. From he created that. You know, the original video and audio was mine, and then he remixed it. Yeah, he's. Maybe one day when we quit warring with one another, I can. He'll accept some fiat. Now he can make some theme music for the channel. That'd be great. We'll see, man. We'll see. All right, here we go. And then, you know, the unironic black man going to the watermelon farm and picking watermelons. Gotta love it. But yeah, let's do I'm Never Eating Meat. Oh, that's 25 minutes long. Anyway, we'll see. I don't watch most of these. The thumbnails are good enough.
Protein powders, oh, city. You don't even know all them killing. Come on, bro.
So in this, a lot of these videos is him talking shit on the stuff that he used to do and probably still does do, because you know there's got to be some version of a body dysmorphia, right? And I had something, I had something like body dysmorphia, I'm sure, when I was determined to swell up, But fortunately, I was somehow introspective enough to realize when I finally hit my goal weight of 195, I just wanted to get to 220. So I said, well, clearly this is never going to end, right? This is crazy. But yeah, anyway.
Ain't no pit stop, man. Here you go.
Bro, I'm not wearing that, bro.
Huh?
I'm not.
Here
You
go.
get this, dude.
Hey,
He himself.
had to try. It was fun. Ain't no way in the world he just watermelon. No more meat. Got on that hyphy jersey, basketball set. Think you guys missed out on that and didn't get it. But anyway, getting ready for the day, man.
Well, and then, I don't know what he's putting in his body, but somebody like this that still has this much lean muscle mass, compared to a pro bodybuilder, his physique is already nowhere near that, I'm sure. But compared to just, Joe Blow on the street, or especially these gym bros, he's still, looking way better than most of them, presumably. So, you got to think if he's really not eating a whole bunch of protein anymore, pretty sure he's still injecting things to at least maintain his lean mass, right? Dude, Music Holds a Secret, living his best life. Just spent $400 on nothing but ribeyes. And I'm not getting in your business. I'm not giving advice here. I'm genuinely curious, Music Holds a Secret. Have you ever thought about, because I remember when I worked at Outback, we actually had the prime rib. So I'm pretty sure our ribeyes came in. Oh, ribeye's the best cut by far. I don't think there's even a comparison. But, for those who may not know, since I used to work at Outback for 3 years, prime rib is the same. It's the same as a ribeye, but it's slow roasted, like in an oven, right? And then, so we at Outback, they cooked the whole loin, right? And then, they would, when you ordered, the bozos that wanted well done, they wanted their meat ruined, well done, that's on the ends or whatever, and then the rares in the middle. So I wondered if you ever thought about getting something like that, just out of curiosity. And I have no idea if that would even be cheaper. But yeah, $8.83 a pound. And when I was eating ribeyes every day, let's get into the meat, by the way. Before we talk about, by the way, the tongue jut, in case anybody is unaware, psychology, as far as body language, considers the tongue jut, when somebody does that, sticks their tongue out, that's they supposedly universally amongst cultures, that means the person feels like they're getting away with something. So probably he's lying. He knows he's lying. But apparently he was a liar before, because he claimed that he was not. He claimed to be all natural, which of course is clearly ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. The ribeye's got the fat. Yeah, indeed. I like a strip also, but ribeye's the best in my opinion. I could probably eat ribeyes now. My thing is, I've indoctrinated myself and trained myself to eat so much at one time. You know, I don't really want to do that until I figure out some way to control myself. Oh, dude, $15.99 a pound where you're at. I was in, because I was buying these ribeyes on the road. I went in a grocery store in Kansas City, just a grocery store, like a chain grocery store. It was like $25 a pound. I didn't even buy any. I was like, fuck that, I'm not paying that much. But Walmart, y'all may not know this, Walmart used to have pretty decent meat, although not great. I have no idea, Tommy, but I'll let the chat cover that because I'm trying to cover a topic real quick. But good to see you, Tommy. Shout out to Mr. Tommy as well. Illuma Tommy in the house. And I don't even, this sanity machine, I don't even know. Like I'm out so far out of the loop, I don't even know what that is, but I guess that's a channel, right? Oh, man. Forgot what I was talking about again. Got distracted by the chat. Oh, yeah. So right about the time the pandemic, the fake pandemic started. Okay, cool, Tommy. Tommy's coming up. We're still warming up over here, so no rush, no rush. America began importing beef from Africa, Namibia, if I'm saying that right, or Nambia or whatever the fuck it is, Namibia, I think, for the first time. And further, people may not be aware, and again, don't take my word for this, do your own research, that the U.S. got sued at the World Trade Organization and is now being forced under whatever this bullshit international law is, being forced to, if you buy meat in America and it says product of USA, that can be from other countries. I don't know if y'all are aware of that, but yeah, exactly. So I bought, and the ribeyes at Walmart, they look good. So I bought this like 2 or 3 pack, I don't remember, but like a 2-pack of these gorgeous looking ribeyes. Dude, I cooked them. I took one bite. Shit was rotten. Just threw it in the trash. The cooked one and the one that wasn't. Just meat straight to the trash. I said, never again. I'm never getting another cut of meat at Walmart ever again. But like we've got just a local grocery store here, you know, like a local chain, and they got pretty good meat, man, for fairly reasonable prices. So I might start with some of them real thin ribeyes, just to sort of so I don't eat too much at one time, right? But yeah, here we go. Are Benton and Drew still? I don't know that we're beefing. I think we're just. I think he's done. He's just had enough of me, and I can't say that I don't hold grudges, but obviously I expressed some frustrations the last time me and him, you know, did those morning shows. Oh, and I did find some of my MP3 files that I you know, downloaded some of the audio from the D Live, the Sunday night D Live show that Drew and I used to do. Okay, there you go. Yeah. In Walmart, it used to be decent, you know, but not anymore. Anyway, let's see what Mr. Muscle's talking about here, while we wait for Tommy to come settle our hash.
Start off with this cardio, get in a little workout, back and buys, little pump, nothing serious. I don't want to get too exhausted. Got a long. Yeah, I'm still getting over bigorexia, man. But I'm good now.
Bigorexia.
Feel light on my feet.
Well, and you know, that is interesting what he said about light on his feet, because when I had pumped up, you know, to way bigger than what I'm normally supposed to be. Yeah, Kroger's decent. Yeah, Kroger's. In fact, that's where I started going to for the most part after, you know, if there was a Kroger in that part of the country. But yeah, the bigorexia, he's saying, about wanting to get big and all that. I think I forgot what I was going to say again. Yeah, thin cut. There you go. I eat Walmarts and cut ribeyes all the time. A couple of eggs keeps you going all day. Yeah, and I'm back on the eggs. Actually, just the yolks, because here's another problem is my kidneys are having problems. I can process some protein, but not a lot. So I don't even eat the whites. I'm just eating the egg yolks. So I think I'm up to 6 a day. And yesterday I just had 6 hard-boiled eggs. But yeah, 6. And so it's definitely helping with my hormone levels, I can tell. But shit, let me play this again and see if I can remember what I wanted to say. Gosh dang it.
Measure today. I've been procrastinating. Scared to see how big they are now. You know, y'all, I'm still getting over bigorexia, man. But I'm good now. I'm enjoying my new physique.
Yeah, his new physique. So since when I had athletic abilities, including white boy sprinter speed, meaning I could generally out-sprint the white boys typically, but not the faster blacks. But generally, if it's just a random group of white boys, I could typically out-sprint them, but not always. But I call that white boy sprinter speed. And, I was a decent athlete, above average. And I noticed after I had pumped up to, I was walking around at like 180, 185 for much of my homelessness. Well, when I first had that unexplained weight loss, which in my mind, due to my health issues, but in my mind was just me, not eating enough food and not doing enough strength training to maintain my mass. I noticed like all of my athletic ability came back. So that's probably what he's experiencing, I'm assuming. Like my agility increased, I could jump higher, like everything, I could run faster. I stopped with the eggs, but when I did eat them, yeah, egg yolks. Egg yolks are great, and I really need them for my eyes, man, and my eyes are doing way better. And I've cut back on the carrots. I'm not eating carrots anymore. So, in fact, my eyesight had gotten so bad that I was intentionally trying to get a lot of vitamin A, and I was even supplementing it. Well, hilariously, though, like, too much, not enough vitamin A causes vision problems, but so does too much vitamin A. So I actually crossed over and started having the vision problems again. So it seems to me like the eggs are really helping in the vision department. My eyesight is much better, or less bad than it has been. Better to hand pick your steaks at the Kroger butcher department. That can be. Then RT, we get into how busy is the meat section and what level the bozo is trying to wait on you, right? But I agree. You do get the best shit, even if you just have them, even if you get something that's in the case, the butcher case. But occasionally, you might have them cut it for you, right? But yeah, I think maybe we're saying the same thing. Yeah, get it pick it from the counter, right? Yeah, that's definitely better. That's definitely better. And sometimes I just can't be bothered to try to communicate with another human being, like which fucking steak is which. But, that's a me problem, right?
Getting a lot of monetary financial gain.
Exactly, because you're LARPing as a fruitarian, which is completely fine, by the way. I have no problem with that. And lest we forget, this is YouTube, the clickbait platform. This is, as far as I know, it's the biggest clickbait platform, but a lot of these platforms I haven't really checked out. Oh, and I found the Drudge interview, so we've got that to look forward to, although we may not necessarily get to it. But yeah, actually, I was reading about, at some point there was a guy who was subsisting on 18 eggs a day and nothing else. That was the claim. I mean, I guess you'd have to really follow him around and see if he's not dipping off somewhere and eating something else. But at my body weight, if my body could actually process that much saturated fat and dietary cholesterol, maybe it can. I don't know. Hypothetically, yeah, 18 eggs a day. I don't know. That might be a little too much. What if I had, like one egg every half hour? one hard-boiled egg every half hour. And I know soft-boiled, the yolk's going to have more nutrition, but that's a little too, I just can't do it. I used to be the pickiest person you could ever imagine as a child. I've never met anyone who was as much of a picky eater as I was. By the way, shout out to undiagnosed autism. That's another common symptom of autism is pickiness, and especially when related to the texture of the food, because a lot of autism has to do with sensory type of issues. Yeah, high bozo. Well, and I worked at Walmart. I was working at the Supercenter back in the 90s when one meat department at one Walmart somewhere in the country unionized, and the very next day that shit was over. Walmart pulled all their meat cutters nationwide, and I was friends with one of the guys that worked in our meat department, and he had to go, do something else in the Walmart because his meat cutter position was gone. Yeah, shout out to capitalism, right? Way to go, capitalism. Uh-oh. Gary Baxter says, yeah, this must be a sign of the apocalypse. Gary's 16-year-old son did all the chores this morning. All I have to do is feed the chickens. Wow, that's amazing, Gary. Yeah, Cool Hand Luke could eat 50 eggs. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. And another movie I saw as a young child and was very confused by the egg scene. I didn't really understand what I was seeing. My grandmother having HBO and me staying up, being accustomed to staying up all night on the weekend. Me and my best friend we would stay up all weekend rather, and play Nintendo Entertainment System. But then sometimes that would be me at my grandmother's house, because my family, of course, did not have cable. That evil cable television. Although in retrospect, I think it was mostly my dad is quite cheap by nature.
Went to gaming, live streaming, and started blow it back up. Oh, he a gamer, he gonna lose his muscle, right? So bam, I did that. Then I came back to the fitness world, and it was more calm. They was still saying I was saying that I was natty. Never said that in my life.
Oh, dude, bullshit.
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 So then I got into the cars. Wasn't too much. I'm talking about I didn't research study.
He ain't even talking about fruit.
Feeling good.
Talk about fruit,
Waking
partner.
up every night. Like when you ingest it, you just feel like energy. It just,
Oh my god, dude.
2 watermelons.
Oh my god.
I love how this separate right here. Yeah.
Look at that. What's that?
That's good right there. That's all.
That piss? You pissed, didn't you?
No, that's the rind and everything. You see how it settled at the bottom?
Yeah.
This is the dope right here.
Oh yeah.
That's the citrulline and all that, ryptopine and
Let's see it.
lycopene.
Let me take it like I'm taking a shot. Come on. Come on.
It's your time. Yes, it's time for you to win something in your life. And guess what?
Anyway, that's about enough. It's about enough of that. Let's see if everybody left. There's Mad Mystic is live. Too bad she's probably playing copyrighted music. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Hey, 36 in the house, maybe. Obsessed with the numbers. I thought the cameraman was a Lumitami. Yeah, that's great. Oh, man. Shame on the mess. All right, I think that's about all I have, unless y'all want to go to the Matt Drudge. Maybe let's go to this Drudge. I've been wanting to play this for a while, so yeah, let's do that.
Leanne McAdoo.
Hey, we got a caller. It's Tommy. Tommy, yeah, thank you for saving us from the B material, sir. How are you?
If you watch too much of that, it's going to put a baby in you.
Well, I feel like I'm watching the appropriate amount to avoid becoming impregnated. Is that a thing?
What's that guy's deal?
Former professional bodybuilder on roids and all that, had a widowmaker heart attack and almost died, and now he's I guess he was making so much money as a content creator that now he's LARPing as a fruitarian, apparently.
So he's saying his heart attack was over the meat?
Not sure, actually. That's a good question. I need to investigate further. Haven't got that deep into it yet.
The title or something said something about I'm never eating meat again or some shit.
Yeah. Not exactly sure.
Yeah, I can't get into that. It is delicious, but like everything is eating something else.
Yes. Yeah, I have no desire. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you don't eat one of those creatures, another creature will eat that creature.
Exactly.
And we can be even better about like assassinating them quickly. Of all the shit I don't care of that happens to people, I watched a short recently. I forget what the lion's name was. It was some lion that had a fucking name that people would follow for National Geographic and shit. And he had like a look to him, like some scar over his eye. But they watched him get the time he finally got taken down by like 3 or 4 lions. And it was like hard for me to watch. Just, I don't care what they did to each other in life. It was like watching this lion stand in defiance and bend back as like other lions are going to take him out. It was heavy, man. It's fucking heavy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those videos. I do, relate to the lions on some level. And then, all this alpha male talk. The reality is that's what eventually happens to the so-called alpha male. The others, he becomes too old and gets taken out. in that scenario.
Yeah. I mean, there's some tribes or organizations where they'll allow them to just wise into a shaman or something. But yeah, for most packs, you'll be alpha till you're not, and that'll be your last day.
They're saying your audio's
But
low, but I'm sure it's not your fault, so I'm going to see if I can fix that.
yeah, I've been checking my audio after certain panels, but I think this phone's just about ready to take a shit. Or maybe whenever I've been spurging, I've slowly been like spitting a layer into the microphone holes or something.
I think you're good. I'm just going to turn mine down, and then we should be all right.
But yeah, man, maybe it was the way they kind of commemorated this lion, but yeah, man, it was ruthless the way they're like it's taking him, and he's a big boy himself. And just like you can, even though he's roaring like the fucking lion he lived, you could tell that he knows that it's that day, and he's still like, well, let's get it fuck on. But yeah, man. I mean, humans, we know how shitty we are, so you can kind of see like I know what Gaddafi went through was not fun, and it does suck. But I even watched that dude get raped by a blade, and I didn't have the feelings I had for that lion,
Yeah, I get
Also,
that.
fuck Gaddafi.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah. We are good goddamned Americans over here, after all.
Yeah. And I have to realize I've looked like that too. Like, fucking broke my body off of slipping on ice and walked a mile like that. And if it had been people throwing rocks at me and shit, it would have been the same show. Defiance until
Yes.
just pushing till I can't push anymore.
That's right. Make them take you apart, Tommy.
Well, that's what I mean, Benton, it just sucks that I still might not make it to the getting taken out for not having the mark, but I hope you make it to
Thank
those
you.
times.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because like that's the death you're like, yeah, man. I was telling, I think it was Neurojack last night. I was like, no, dude, I'm agreeing. Like, you will not find a solution to this if you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll either take the mark or you won't, and it's the end all. Like, you'll either have it or not. And they can already follow your phone. I'm sure the mark is going to be more than just buy and sell tattoo. Like, I've heard some intriguing talks about it's probably going to offer a lot of desirable effects to your persons, as in like heightened things, excelling things to you, and the way you see people's desires these days. They might even throw in a bit of the gender fluidity, because it's demonic.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Well said. We are going less biblical these days, but I feel like you covered that perfectly.
Yeah. So this Drew thing,
Yes, sir.
He's dropping the fucking ball on this. So I guess this guy is somebody that Machine Lies was beefing with. But Drew did his typical thing that I got on him about from Jim Bob. He even likes Jim Bob. And when he interviewed him, Jim Bob's like, have you ever read this? Drew's like, no. Have you ever seen this? Drew's like, no. Did you check up on this? No. And then this is a guy Drew's like bringing in for a hate interview, and the guy like corners him like that. He's like, did you watch my videos? No, you didn't. You watched the one I made about EBT and your buddy. You didn't watch any of the others. Now you want to sit here and ask me about it. So Drew's douching it up. He's got two bows in that shit that's coming off the bottom of his chin. And for part of it, he looks like he's going to cry. And I don't know if I can get through it because his mic is taking a shit the whole time. It's like painful to listen to his mic popping out constantly. The dude even goes through like 5 minutes of like, I can't hear you, man.
Wow.
Drew's just like muted talking. Yeah, it starts out really bad. But the way I got him dead to rights is I left a chat saying like, oh, I'm glad you opened with like that you're a piece of shit for coming at people with a stock account. Because he starts out talking about this guy has all these stock accounts. He uses it to like bust on people and play up his own channel. Moose. So I'm going to throw that toward Moose too. But yeah, I said, I'm glad you started with that thing admitting about your stock account. And he goes, you really think my wife is a stock account? I said, no, I think you're the Bubs. And he didn't answer. And I was like, I got you, bitch. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you're that puppet bag. So yeah, like So I got him on that. And then yeah, there's a couple things that happened at the beginning of the video I can get him on. And I don't even know if I will, man. If anybody wants to steal this and go at him, feel free. Cause this is the benefit I'm seeing, Benton. I'm glad I'm going slow on these projects and not pumping them out fast. Because there's been a number so far where where things have either evolved where I'm like, fuck it, and I just scrap the whole thing, or things evolve and change, and I'm like, oh, now I must do it this way. Like, Jay Z was going to be funny and endearing, and then after he tossed the Saturday effort and fucking offended me today and yesterday, I'm like, okay, Jay Z is going to be more mean, more like actually making him sound like a gay fool instead of ha ha ha, he talks gay, he says stuff that sounds like it's gay, right? No, now I'm just gonna spell it out, make him look gay.
Get him, Tommy.
Yeah,
Not Z, just in general. Get him.
yeah. I'll get all of them that I deem worthy of finding out. But yeah, I can't scrap the thumbnail is too good. I took the Daisy video game thing and just made it his face, put the gay singer guy's
So
face in the
did
clouds.
did you drop a new video, or is this to be released soon?
It's to be released soon, but I've been showing off the thumbnail.
Oh,
If you haven't seen it, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I'll
it yet.
pull it up.
Fantastic, Tommy.
No, Gazy, Christos. Gazy. But yes, it'll be the Daisy cover. And now, like, I was going to do a mean thing at Paul, just a short mean thing, because he went over to the Thorpes and dropped some
What?
fiat.
When was
Yeah,
this?
he went over to just the other night. It was
Oh, shit.
whatever night whatever night I went on as a berry that turned into a different berry that turned into a tranny to bust on the tranny that was up there, and then turned into the Koof virus to sing "There's Another One Coming." It was that night. He showed up and he threw $2 super chat to bust on Flow State, and then he threw another $2 saying, "Hey, if you all get sick of incest, come watch Paul Enslaved." And I was like, oh, fuck no, Paul. Like, you're doing good, right? You're winning this shit. Why are you skeezing on my Thorpes? And I got beef with him technically right now, but no, you don't do that shit. So I was going to make a mean thing toward him, but now I'm just going to make a fake answering machine call about his son, Moose. Your son, Moose. See him running over there to the gay kid's house all the time. That Z-boy, little fairy one. Yeah, go back in the tool shed. Tell them what they're back there in the tool shed being all friendly and shit. You better stop your boy from going over there to the Z, a little gay boy. It'll be like one of those phone calls on a rap album, on a music album or something. I still might throw in a pop up those super chats, be like, what the fuck? Like this shit.
Yeah, man.
Stop that.
I'm not expecting crazy amounts or anything, but hey, it's been pretty decent so far, I must say. So shout out to the contributors. But much like them, I would, I don't necessarily want to see all that money go to YouTube, but I do like, when I do a super chat, I do like seeing that that feeling of being somewhat special. For some reason, that appeals to me. My comment being differentiated from the rest.
Right, but think about it. Imagine somebody throwing you a $2 super chat to pull people, to say, come watch me instead of this channel. Here's $2, Benton. Just telling everybody to come watch me instead of you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that necessarily.
Well, I mean, you'd think he'd have more than $2 for stealing people.
Well, that's a good point.
So we got Gazy.
Nice. Hang on, let me give you the screen here.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll really show. So I emphasized his Z on the gay Z, of course. We threw his face over the sniper girl that's usually there. And I don't know if you can probably make out that's Nathan kind of phased into the clouds there. You can't see it on your screen. It'll probably show up when you see it posted. think actually back here it shows up a little better, that orangeness. That's him.
Nice.
I really want you to do that red spiky sea ball that you did that one time on Z Show a while back. You were like floating and swimming around as a spiky
Was
red
that the
ball.
coup? Was that the
Yup.
coup? Oh,
Yup.
the. What do you mean do it? Like now?
That filter. I mean, just do that filter again for something in the future.
Yeah, I did it.
Or whatever.
Were you
Even just a
watching the
random
Thorpe?
stream.
Yeah, did you watch the Thorpe stream?
I
It's
did
on
not.
Grace's. Let me see what
I
the
don't.
title was.
I'm not
It's the
subbed to
Should I
any of them.
Stay or It's the Should I Stay or Should I Go stream she did, and it's toward the end. You'll see Flow State up there. Whenever the chick shows up as linguine noodles, that's when you know to go ahead and stop fast forwarding. I'll pop in as a berry, just stare up at her, go into the I had time of my life. Like I'll spend the remainder trying to fucking move in on the sliz. Because she mentions she does Adderall and shit. I'm like, oh, this is a done deal. But yeah, then just stuff happens. But it's decent.
This is Anglo Elite.
Hey Ben, how's it going, man?
What's up? Who
Dude,
is this?
What? How come you haven't followed the Primal diet, man? You spend all this money on supplements and you know, all this bullshit from Costco and Walmart, but you can't even follow a proper diet.
So excellent question, sir. I have no answer for you, unfortunately. Just stupidity. Is that an answer?
What's wrong with your diet?
Raw animals. We're meant to be eating raw foods, just like any other animal that walks the earth. You observe a dog,
Yes.
you observe an elephant, you observe a tiger. They
So-
don't cook their.
Where would you suggest that I find these animals to eat? And this is a serious question, by the way.
Raw's a little touchy to be broad, not so detailed on. Like raw can be dangerous.
Well, interestingly, go ahead,
Raw's
uh,
not-
Anglo.
That's what you read from the Jewish media, that you know that bacteria is bad and evil. But
Well, the Jewish
That's
media is now sending me money through super chats, so let's. You can say Jewish if you want. It'd be better for the
Have you
monetization.
had
if you didn't.
salmonella before, bro?
Go ahead, Anglo Elite.
Right.
I have not
Uh-oh, he's Borging.
that Japanese eat sushi.
So here's what I'll say, man. If we had always eaten raw meat and never started cooking it and developed that commonality, that
We have. We have been eating raw meat for since the beginning. I mean, why is sushi a staple? Why is tartare a staple?
so that's
You
what
go
I'm
to any
saying. The
restaurant,
details,
these items are the most expensive.
the
Go to any
details,
restaurant, these items are the most expensive.
right? But the details to eating these raw things have very much a lot going with timing, and what's my word for like when you're growing mushrooms or doing surgery? Sterile, like the sterile area and the timing of when you consume them. That's all imperative. Um, that's why you can just sear a steak on the outside compared to ground beef, where it's like, if that ground beef had sat around, then just got
Doesn't even
seared on the.
matter. It doesn't matter if
Doesn't
we
it?
cook it or not. We have such high. Our stomach acid is so high. It's the equivalent of a canine, like a dog. So I mean, it can break
Dude,
down anything.
I've had food poisoning at least 3 times in my life, and every time you, for at least a moment, will question your survival. Like even
Well,
my mom, she got
your
seafood
stomach
food
acid
poisoning,
could break down
and she
anything
thought
but
for
your stomach,
days that she
apparently.
was gonna die. And
I mean,
off
think
of
about
my
that.
Taco Bell food poisoning, other food poisonings, I've at least thought in moments like, I think I might fucking die if this keeps going.
Exactly. You're eating
Food
goy slop.
poisoning, yeah.
You're eating goy slop. Of course, you're gonna have.
Exactly, Crumley.
No, it
Lot
can
of
come
fever
from
dreams.
like if you leave chicken juice on your cutting board too long and then get that on something. It's the same difference. I've had Taco Bell food poisoning, but also from my own error in preparation of food, it can happen.
You're because depend because your symptom, like if you have intense diarrhea, that's a symptom of detox. Your body trying to eliminate whatever toxins you've ate from that food.
Right, the poisoning, the toxins, or the salmonella.
The salmonella is not causing the tox. The salmonella is salmonella is in your gut biome right now. It's there's nothing wrong with salmonella. It's not that. It's just you, we have this thing with germ theory. They make you scared of one germ so that they create like a pharmaceutical to destroy that germ. It's like terrorism. You're gonna have a never-ending
Perfect opportunity.
If I were to challenge you to a shake
Remember
debate,
Tommy?
sir.
That
Huh?
filter? That filter I was talking about? This is a
Yeah,
perfect time to use it.
it holds up my work. I can't run what I'm doing and run the filters at the same time.
No worries.
But this
It's okay.
guy, I see the opportunity, Christos. It's not really like a grand event, but I'm picking up what you're
I
putting down.
understand. Yep.
I see your C. You're correct. But if I were to challenge this man to a shape debate, what side would he take?
what
Ooh,
the.
that's a
Are
good
you a
one.
plate planet? Do you
not even
subscribe
sure
to
who
the
this
plate
is.
planet, sir?
I don't subscribe to any planet. I don't think we're on a planet. I think we're in a simulation. I think we're in a program. I think flat Earth, round Earth, whatever. It's all just a psyop. I don't think we're on Earth. I don't think we're on I think we're in some sort of simulation.
All right, then I'm gonna have to tell you, man. Like your food thing and your virus thing, it's verifiable stuff. Like the globe you're on, and I'm into like spirituality. What's the unknown? What can we? Is the giants still out there? Are there Yeti dicks? Shout to London. Are there chupacabras? Things like that. Are the aliens Nephilim or not? Demons? Who knows? But the things that are verifiable, they're verifiable. And two of those things are globe and things can hurt you bad from eating them. So, like, if it is like all fiction,
yeah,
then what's
of course they
Benton
can
doing
hurt you.
wrong?
Of
It,
course,
if you
of
can't
course
be
things can
hurt
hurt
by,
you.
if you can't be harmed by what you eat, then how is Benton's diet wrong?
No, I agree. You can be hurt. I mean, we're living in a toxic environment. All our food is polluted. All our food has all, the animals' food is grown with pesticides. Everything is. We live in a toxic world. So yeah. So
I
my
mean, have you
only.
seen Unslavia? I know.
Well, you should try to get food from Amish farms, better quality food. Go on. I mean, go to your local like farmers market. Try to get out of the corporate slave. The corporate food supply. I mean
I
that.
agree with that, and that's what I'm telling Stephen Crumley. Number one, Stephen, you wouldn't be watching the Thorbs. You'd be going over and watching that to see moi. But Stephen, with respect to your struggle, it is up to each individual to both pursue and eat correctly and get out of slave system um, until tattoo is required, and then you're just screwed. It's either tattoo or you're screwed. But yeah, man, like I agree with some of that you said. Like with other channels that seem to take me as an enemy, um, I'm just trying to usually tell them, like, yes, you're right, but that's not something you can stand on a soapbox and hound people about. It's like we all have to understand it for ourselves, seek it, search it out, what's best for us also, because I know Jordan Peterson and his daughter, they got a lot out of only eating meat, like in their diet, just full on meat. They said it solved a lot of their problems. Other people say they had a good thing with like all vegetables or all fruit. Me personally, uh, I keep track of like if there's bugs in my ingredients and certain chemicals and things. But for the most part, I couldn't gain weight if I wanted to. Cardio and or cardiovascular heart valves seem pretty good. Every time I am driven to the emergency room or the hospital, they
So nobody's been
fix
able to
me
tell
and
me
then
so
say
far
everything else is
how do
remarkably
I
good for
obtain
my
these
age.
animals
So
that I'm
I
supposed to
think
eat
that's
raw.
just not my test in this life. I wouldn't
Is it up to me
discourage
to go
anybody else
and
from
live on a goat
not
farm
looking
so I
into
can eat
theirs.
raw goats?
But
Like this
yeah,
fellow in
man,
this article
it's all
apparently
just
did
the details of
that
the
I was showing.
context. Like, I'll disagree with you about what we're on and when food damages us, and I showed you that I'll agree with you on the other things.
No man is an island, Jimbo Khan. Good to see you.
All you gotta do is observe.
See, all you got to do. See, it's very easy. It's very easy. It's just a simple matter. And it's so simple that this fella's most likely doing it while laying in a pile of trash in his hoarded out home and never leaving his house. Yeah. That's how simple it is. Yeah, paging lube ass.
I have done the raw eggs whenever I was a
Paging lube ass.
and granted, though, I will say, like, I'm still trying to hunt snafu down. Even though dogs don't run around to other dairy-giving creatures and pursue that, if you set any kind of milk down in front of my dog, he's going ham on it.
Yeah. Well, animals in nature will steal milk from other animals. I mean, it's been observed. I mean, that's observed in nature. I mean,
And when my dog was a puppy, he did test my man nipple once. He noticed it was a nipple when I was holding him, and he gave it a lick and a bite. And I almost dropped him, but yeah.
Apologies for the audio issues there.
that's all normal.
Yeah. I mean, you got prostitutes online right now offering up titty milk for buyers.
Sure.
And even though it sounds gross because prostitute, if you could just get a woman, like if you had a baby mama. in
So
your
meet
house
Derek
who's raising,
Nance. 5
like,
years
gonna have
ago,
your child,
Derek
if you
had
got
some
down on
mystery
some of that
illness
milk,
that killed
that's
his
probably
appetite
better
and
than
made him
anything
puke up
at
everything he ate.
THC you could get.
The doctors suspected it was an
Depends on
allergy
what the mom
thing.
is eating. If she's eating like
So Derek changed his
McDonald's
diet.
or,
First, he
like,
cut the wheat and dairy, but he still
every
continued
day,
losing weight.
that's
Getting
gonna
desperate,
filter
he was
into
soon
her blood,
online, chatting
and
to
the
people
baby's gonna
pushing
get
all
all
manner of
those nutrients.
life-saving diets.
And that's why
Derek
a lot
tried a
of,
Mediterranean diet, fish and vegetables, before
women had to
ditching the
have,
fish and eventually becoming a vegan,
they threw
but
up
nothing
morning
worked. Finally, a
sickness.
guy who'd had
Morning
similar
sickness is
symptoms
just a way
recommended
to
a
protect the
carnivorous
baby. You're
version of the
throwing up all those
Paleolithic
toxins
diet.
so that the
With
baby
nothing to
doesn't
lose,
get that
Derek
in
gave
supply.
raw meat
So
a
everything
try. That was
the body
5 years
does is
ago,
for a reason.
and he now goes so far as to brush his
Yeah.
teeth with animal
Even
fat.
when you hallucinate on
For
milk,
reasons I don't
it's
properly understand, I wanted to watch
affect your
Derek eat a
body
meal,
knowing
and he
it's
obliged. I
poison
found him with his girlfriend Joanne in Lexington,
Your
Kentucky,
body's
and we talked about
undergoing
vital
poison.
organs,
It's
rotten meat,
starting
and
to
health, which is the main point of this, according to Derek. He's never been
disassociate
healthier.
itself.
But one more thing when the food
Well,
poisoning / salmonella.
Music Holds a Secret says raw meat is
it's
gross,
real
just like
'cause you
O'Shea's
can
piss. Well,
shut
I'm in
restaurants
semi-starvation.
down and
Everything
maybe get a
tastes
little
delicious.
pocket change for it.
I can eat pretty,
And
like, I don't have to worry about my
Restaurants
pickiness
and
from the
stuff, they
past.
have
Like,
to freeze
I've never
it,
eaten
they
a
have to
hard-boiled
freeze
egg
their
in my life.
food,
Now they're
They
delicious.
have to spray it and all that stuff.
Yeah, I got rid of all that,
to
Terry
meet
Miller.
the FDA
Benton,
requirements. I mean, in this
Benton used to be on them
country, in the
terps,
USA,
partner.
They have to spray
Yes,
meat
sir. But
with
all that's
citric
all
acid
that's
to
real. Yeah,
destroy
definitely.
all the harmful bacteria, they say. That's
those are the that's what the regulations are for, because it is dangerous.
Also, if you want to listen to the government, if you turn over your meat, your package of meat, it says to cook it thoroughly. So if you want to be a good slave, cook your meat thoroughly. You know, don't eat it raw. Cook it thoroughly, right?
Yeah, because sometimes if you don't cook your fish or your meat thoroughly, you're
Right.
consuming worms and
I know,
parasites.
the government-
So
the
this
government's
guy
just looking out.
buys
They
goats
don't
and
want you to eat
slaughters his own
parasites.
animals,
So you gotta
which
cook
seems
it
to me
thoroughly.
is the
Cook it
only
thoroughly.
real way I could
Black.
actually adopt
Listen,
this
here's the
diet.
thing. Here's the thing.
And this is
I'm
the
glad
guy's
I'm
fridge
glad
here.
you brought this up.
You gotta
I'm
cook it
glad-
until it's black. It doesn't have any semblance of life at all.
No. You
That's
don't
no-
Oh, it's a
have to-
sheep, not a
Listen to your
goat, a sheep.
government, turn-
Mutton.
Just cook it to death, and that's it.
And then he
Okay,
ended up
so
becoming
I'm
a
glad
butcher.
you went this
So more or
direction,
less,
but I
unless I
mean,
want to
this-
either raise my own animals
like, yes,
or
guys,
purchase
there
them
is
and
this
eventually
level
become
of
a
belief
butcher,
system,
like this
tyranny,
doesn't seem
that
like a
wants
thing that can be
to
done,
remove
if you ask
your
me.
freedom
I don't know.
more
What do
and
you
more in
think?
the future and
What do you
lock
people think?
down. But the system itself is called society, and It
Exactly,
is here
Jimbo.
to
So what would
benefit
happen is
and to be a
Jimbo says he
responsibility
has the
that
same
you
question I
must
do. Where am I supposed to get all this
abide
organic
as a
raw meat?
stand-up citizen.
And again,
Like,
when people say carnivore, they're not
driving
talking
on the
about going
right
to your
side
grocery
of the
store
road
and buying a
is not
steak. They're talking about
pure.
eating the entire
Like,
animal,
requiring
right?
Mexican food
We're not
trucks
talking
to
about
keep the
steak.
food
We're
to a
talking about the
standard is
whole
not
motherfucking
pure.
animal, including
Like,
organs.
that is to look out for each
So I would
other.
literally have
Like,
to go
that's
live
how
on a
we're.
sheep
The
farm
government is
or
always
something,
looking out for
which I'm
us.
not going to do. I'm not going to go live on
But
a
see,
sheep
you're
farm so I can
saying it
continue to exist in the
in
nightmare
that
dystopia.
way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That makes
Not
Because
interested.
listen, if they wanted this to be safe, they wouldn't tell us to eat our food raw. I mean, if they wanted to kill us, they would just say, you know, they wouldn't even put
This
that
is not how
disclaimer on
logic
there,
works,
right?
by the way. What this guy's saying, this is not how logic works.
there's a lot of context because there's the business aspect to it.
Yeah, go to the
the,
petting zoo.
like
That's
the
right.
food producers.
Yeah, I'd have to turn it into my full-time
There's
job.
liabilities.
I'd have to literally become a
That's fine.
butcher.
I mean, pasteurized milk is good. Raw milk is bad.
I'm trying to find a good answer for like there is the broad context. I'm trying to like narrow it down
Yeah.
because there's ways they want you to be safe.
Yeah, exactly. Dal says I homestead 20 acres and have neighbors with animals too. I
There's
still can't
ways
eat
they
meat
want you to
every
be
meal.
safe
Exactly.
because you are the
Delusional
system
and in denial,
that
so
they
many of these
need
folks.
to
Completely
support
delusional and in
their
denial.
purpose and
Yeah.
Much
they don't
of the
want you to be
so-called truth
optimally
community.
healthy. That's why they tell you to cook your meat. If you didn't cook your meat,
So go to the supermarket
but
and buy
right
a
now
steak and
they
don't cook
currently
it.
wanna
Bullshit.
reduce
That's
the
not what we're talking about. We're talking about
because
slaughtering the
abundance
animal
and good time
and
are
even
around.
still
they don't
possibly
wanna reduce it.
searing the meat,
That's
but
another
then
side.
eating
They
it
don't want to reduce
very,
it by
very
diversity.
rare.
They need
Oh
more,
yeah, they do.
they need more slaves than ever. They need a bunch
No,
of
no, they don't. That's why they want to reduce it because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not needed. So as
are.
automation and
You don't
abundance
think-
is
you don't
on the
think they
way,
need
they
slaves?
don't want all these
You don't think
idiocracy
they need
slaves
slaves?
just
don't-
chilling.
You don't think they need slaves in the factory? There's bunches of factories like in Amazon, like all this shit.
Yeah, they don't need people for those.
Yeah, they do. They need people still. The robots can't do this work yet. They're not.
Yeah, they're narrowing it down as we speak.
Uh,
Like all Amazon needs of people right now is the delivery vans and a few in the factories because yeah, those little box robots that go pick up the box of what is in the thing and then transport it to less people that are
Looking dumb as
divvying
hell
them into
with
the
a
packages.
mask on.
That's narrowing down
Looking
to
dumb as hell with a
less
mask
people.
on. They
And
got
then
the little kids in
AITX,
masks.
Rob,
Rob,
our
Hell, he got
buddy
his
Rob,
nose out.
last
Hey,
name
if
guy,
this mask do anything,
he's not
listen,
going to be
infected, you
needed
got
much
your nose
longer
out.
because
Partner, it
here
ain't
in
doing
Denver,
nothing.
we're
You
getting
got your
peppered with
nose
these
out, buddy.
solar-powered, blue, flashy cam announcers where it's like, hey, it's like artificial intelligence saying, hey, vagrant, get off the property. And then after you don't for long enough, then a central call center that's very less people calls like, hey, asshole, now it's a real person on the speaker. I see you on the camera. Get
Talk
the
to a
fuck off
bunch
the
of
property.
brainwashed dum-dums
So then if
out
they
there,
don't,
you know,
now
most of
you're
them are just
calling
completely
the
gone,
less
you know what I
minimal
mean?
police who
Leanne
don't need to
McAdoo
patrol because of
referred
these
to
things and they only have to go when call
in
center
the
calls
clips
them.
that you
Yeah,
just
man,
heard.
they're
And what I
reducing
did
where
was,
people are
instead
needed
of
left and right.
inserting the entire interview, what I decided to
You know, the LGBTQ Jew mob running around.
Leanne
Crumley,
McAdoo
was I the
referred
guy
to
that watches a video and then knows everything, or
in
was
the
my
clips that you just heard.
conversational person
And what
here
I
the
did
guy that
was,
watches a video
instead of
and knows it?
inserting the entire interview, what I decided to do was listen to the interview.
Crumley, is your chat broke? I'm not even going to say the R word because I think it's time the community just drops all that shit.
that doesn't excuse Benton from eating a goy slop diet and then, you know, not improving.
Hey, what do I eat? By the way, hey, real quick, everybody, what do I eat? So what do I eat?
You eat a very bad.
No, specifically, what am I putting in my body?
I mean, I've heard you talk about the supplements. I don't.
No,
remember
no, I'm
you
talking about
talking
food.
that.
Forget about the
There's a bunch
supplements.
of supplements from
No, forget about the
Walmart.
supplements. Forget about the
There's a bunch
supplements.
of
Forget about the
bunch of
supplements. Forget about the
stuff from
supplements.
Walmart.
Forget about the supplements. What am I eating?
You're eating food from Walmart.
What specific food from Walmart am I eating?
You're eating food still from Walmart.
What
Look at the
specific
quality.
food from Walmart am I eating?
The quality is what matters. man.
What specific food from Walmart am I eating?
You're eating vegetables from Walmart.
Which vegetables?
The ones that are sprayed with pesticides.
So the pesticides is why I weigh 115 pounds now. So without pesticides, I would not weigh 115.
Well, you need to be eating more fat.
So how much fat am I eating on a daily basis, sir? Because I can tell you exactly how many grams of fat I'm going to consume today. How much fat am I eating? So you don't know what I'm eating. You don't know how much fat I'm eating, but you're telling me I'm not eating enough fat.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter how many grams you're eating. I mean, you turn over like a food product that tells you like 5 grams, 6 grams. It's all bullshit. Tell me what you're eating.
No, I asked you what I'm eating because you've already addressed my diet.
You don't eat enough. You don't eat enough dairy. You don't eat enough raw foods to gain weight. You need a combination of foods to gain weight.
So have you ever intentionally put on weight by weightlifting and eating food, sir?
I have.
Okay. How many calories a day did you eat over what period of time?
I can't remember the calories.
I ate 5,500 calories a day for damn near 4 years, sir. So do you really think I don't know all of this already?
But are you drinking like Ensure? Like how are you getting?
You're missing my point, sir. You're missing my point.
It doesn't matter about how many calories.
It doesn't matter about how many calories. So these bodybuilders, we'll go to them and say, well, actually, it doesn't matter how many calories you're eating. So we'll go to them and say that. We'll go to Michael Phelps, the swimmer, who supposedly ate up to 10,000 calories a day. We'll say, Michael, it doesn't matter how many calories you're ingesting.
I was going to bring him up because part of those 10,000 was allegedly, I think he was like eating 13 McDonald's quarter pounders a day because he was just swimming it off. So it's like, I like McDonald's too.
You're probably just pounding a bunch of Ensure or something like that, or like pasteurized milk.
No, I've never had.
Sure.
Hang on, everybody, stop talking, please. I've never been a milk drinker. Number one, I've never had an Ensure in my entire life.
Weight, dude. That's why you're not gaining weight. You need milk. You need some milk.
So when I went from 145 pounds to 195 pounds and drank no milk, that was not possible. Is that what you're implying? That 50 pounds did not happen because I had no milk during that time? Because you're getting shredded at the level of your logic and reason here. I mean, it's laughable, the performance you're putting on. I mean, it's quite embarrassing, actually. I'm embarrassed for you at this point, sir. I'm embarrassed for you. So you're welcome back. You're welcome back anytime, Anglo Elite, but you might want to come correct next time, if at all possible. We would appreciate that, sir.
And you know what sucks about gaining weight in the gym? How I was doing it? I mean, chicken breast and everything, that's delicious. Chicken breast and broccoli. But no, it's the plate full of rice before the meal and plate full of rice after the meal, and you've had enough when you want to puke, basically. Because Benton's like me, that's what it takes for us to put on weight. Like other people, they'll have a stick of gum and gain 5 pounds. I got to do what I just said, and I barely.
You said you've tried every diet known to man, though.
No, I never said that.
You did.
So can I introduce you to the term known as hyperbole? Are you familiar with? Do you know the meaning of the word hyperbole?
Yes.
Okay, so perhaps I was engaging in hyperbole, as I often do, if I said that, and I'm not even willing to accept that I said that unless you can demonstrate such, sir.
Yeah, no, nothing close to that exact quote.
Thank you.
Isn't red meat what
I can do this all day, by the way.
colon that you gotta get like a cleanse to flush out?
No. Benton, man, what do you eat in a day? Like, what is your morning, afternoon, and dinner routine?
No, you've told me that you know what I eat because you address my diet, so I'm waiting for you to tell me.
I mean, I can assume that you eat, you know.
Yeah, and that means you make an ass out of you than me. So I assume that you're a hoarder who doesn't leave his house and you live in a pile of garbage. But that's me assuming.
I'm just trying to help you, man. I'm trying to help you gain some weight.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So back when I decided to go from 145 pounds to 195 pounds, I did it without anybody's help. But thank you for your unasked for assistance in this area. I appreciate it. I mean, I don't.
So Jimbo Con, trust me, steak is...
Meanwhile, how could you possibly care about my health and my life more than I do? That doesn't even make sense. Like, it literally makes no sense.
Seem like you care. It doesn't really seem like you care getting all your food from Walmart and Costco.
Well, I've never been to a Costco, sir, other than to eat the slice of pepperoni, a Polish dog, and a soda back in the day.
Well, I mean, do you think the quality of meat? Do you think the food quality at Walmart is any good?
Well,
So I'm dying of lack of food quality. So why are the masses out here not significantly overweight? See, this is not what you're saying here is not jiving. So if what you were saying was true with respect to my issues, the general public would also be experiencing these issues, and they're not. In fact, they're significantly overweight.
It's actually healthier to be overweight, though.
You're missing my point. If I was underweight because of the reason you said, the general public would also be underweight. See, something's not. You're missing something. What are you missing here? What are you missing here, Anglo Elite? There's a missing piece that you're not addressing.
It could be. I mean, are you 100% Anglo?
Oh, what's my racial defect? Of course not. You kidding me?
No.
Yeah, it's probably I'm probably a racial defect of some kind. Perhaps we found the issue.
Anglos can assimilate nutrients better than others.
I see.
So it depends.
Fantastic.
On, it depends on it depends on your family tree.
Fantastic.
All I know that the chat knows and everybody here knows, is this is the panel verse. And every person that goes to any panel and says a thing will say the truth. So...
yeah, all I've done today is speak the truth.
Exactly.
Good for you. Glad to hear it.
And I'm just trying to help Benton because, I mean, he has to resort to taking, supplements made in China, and I'm just trying to help him out.
So are you just a random live chat viewer?
No, I've followed Benton for many months.
Well,
he's okay. It's not the randomness. It's he's getting contrary pushback with a little bit of information behind it, and he's just like, no, me right.
Yeah, exactly.
Accurate.
Yep.
I'm not saying I'm right.
Then maybe we're trying to help you.
Holy cows, brother.
I still want Benton to spend any his hard-earned money he's waged for on supplements that may be doing him a disservice.
I think he enjoyed his line of work. He seems to prefer to get back to it if he could. That's not slaving away.
I mean, truck driving really is a dystopian.
Nah, man, I wish I would have. If I would have known, I would have been how I was growing up. I should have been a trucker out of high school.
Well, you can still do
just me, a dog, and a fucking CD player. I would have been back and forth on this country.
You can still chase your dream.
Oh no, I'm already rich, dude. For verifying my information.
Girl, how'd you make it? With crypto?
Oh my
Come on,
god.
man.
Oh, I'm gonna pound my head off
you
the
up
wall.
to speed on this. You gotta catch up on
At
the
least
lore.
we know who your daddy is. No, off stonks like my boy Elon. Illumitami confirmed. No, you guys are gonna love it.
How much money do you have to be rich nowadays?
Well, that's up to the relativity of what an individual needs to... what do you consider rich? Because I don't consider it rolling Bentleys and never wearing the same pair of shoes twice. That's bullshit if you ask me. I was rich as soon as it looked like I could give employers the finger for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I was happy living in the means when I had a job. Like I've always eaten what I want to eat. I do and the things I want to do. I get the things I want to get. And once I had more money, I don't want to go on cruises. I don't want to jet. I just don't want some guy telling me what to do and telling me when to do it.
So you're happy just sitting around, you know?
I don't sit around. I go help people in my community. I have a whole fiction to release soon off of helping the police kick in a door of a guy that I was going to
I was
kick in
just
the door
about
of.
to say, Tommy,
Ha ha ha.
your place is a substation for the local department, right? Just like the grocery
For the
store or
right
whatever will have a
reason.
little pads and sign.
Well, that's what
Substation.
Paul gets wrong. Like I knew why they were here. I hate that guy too, and they already caught me in the window live streaming them. So once they asked me about information of the building and shit, and I was in the military training to be a cop whenever I got out of high school. So like, if you understand their job, you can let them come into your house and not worry about it. I had an AK, two other guns, and a fucking MDA pipe laying out, which to them would have looked like the other M word pipe. They didn't have no problem with me because they were more worried about getting shot. And even as I was like, hey, slow down, when they were coming through the door, he goes, I don't give a fuck what you have in your house. I was like, I hear that. All right.
Yeah, Yeti Life sent
Maybe I'll.
me something on TikTok about it.
May I?
Some
Yeah.
family. Yeah, go ahead, Wizard.
I was been listening. I heard the conversation about the diet and all that, so I wanted to say something. I hope you don't mind my firsthand experience from 1985 to 1989. I spent 3.5 years in a federal prison, a reformatory, and I worked in the kitchen. I was eating 6 meals a day plus a snack at night before I went to bed. I went in weighing 120 pounds. And during that 3.5 year period, I was also working out in the weight yard, doing everything I could. And it didn't matter what I did afterwards because the whole 3.5 year period, it took me 3.5 years to gain 65 pounds, doing everything I could, eating like my brother said, 5,000 calories a day plus. And then as soon as I walked out of prison, I started losing weight. This is something that's told me in my life that I don't need all that food. What I need is a good balance. And the other part of my experience in that 3.5 years is one of the guys that was weight training me was about 175 pounds, and he was one of the strongest motherfuckers I've ever seen. The sinewy strength of just actually using your body as it's meant to be used, your nutrients. You have the capability of a higher strength than a normal man with a normal diet by streamlining your diet to your own private needs. Everybody has a different chemical makeup in their body. It operates on the same basis of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but that's it. Everything else above that, it differentiates through each and every one of us, and each and every one of us needs to find out our own particular diet that suits us for our private needs according to our activities. Now, if you want to be a warrior out on the war field, I suggest you put on at least 10,000 calories a day and work out as much as possible without disregarding your training for handling all that equipment. It's
And
pertinent.
I've personally found at because me and Wizard are pretty much carrying the same crucified Jesus shape, which will survive longer in the starving wilderness. If you put Mr. Universe out in the wilderness and me and Wizard, Mr. Universe is gonna break down and starve to death faster because
Yep,
Because
I
you
guarantee
need
it.
the
his
fat.
body's
You need the fat. You need
expecting
the
what's
fat to
not
protect
coming
you.
anymore.
You need the fat to protect you from all the toxins because the
No,
more
me
fat.
and Wizard will maintain off of the scavenger food we find. Mr. Universe will still be breaking down because he's not getting what he needs to maintain.
But this guy that's saying, we have to work out and stuff, working out's not good either.
Well,
No,
working out is
It is.
exercise. Is
You
good.
have to work. You have to move. The difference between working out and your actual daily physical activities is about how you incorporate those activities into your life and the things that you do.
Well, we're
So
not
if
meant
you're a
to be.
mechanic,
We're
if
not
you're a
meant to be-
mechanic, let me finish.
No.
Fuck you.
No.
So if you're a mechanic as opposed to a paper pusher, you're obviously going to have a different physique.
Yeah.
You
but
see what I'm saying?
That's just based on what your job is. That's not based on how humans are supposed to live naturally. We're not meant to
Exactly.
be-
That's
we're
what I'm
not meant to
saying.
be-
This
we're not meant to
society
be-
has
we're
us
not meant to-
rigged. This society has us rigged into believing we have to work out and be physical creatures for the employment status of different capacities. Where if you act in your natural capacity, it's natural.
No, it's not natural to work out.
So is
Not
what I was
It
going
is
to say
natural
though.
to work
It's
out.
not natural
It is
to lift-
natural to get off your ass and work. It
Yeah,
is natural to get off your ass and walk. That is the definition of work.
Okay,
And it is
I
working
agree.
outside of your spirit. Your
Yeah,
spirit
I agree.
sits here. And if you work out, it's because your body is outside of your spirit and it has to work.
I agree.
So guys, it is
I'm not saying
possible to
going to the-
injure
I'm not saying-
yourself
I'm not saying to
from
go to the
moving,
gym. I'm not
but
saying
that doesn't
to go-
mean working out is bad. Like I used to go to the gym, deadlift
Thanks, Wizard.
or
Appreciate you
something
being here, brother.
easy, and then on the way home, I would sprain my neck from turning to look in the rearview mirror. I'd be like, my neck, what did I do? Because I moved wrong. But to work out is not bad.
No, it is bad because you're putting unwanted stress on your body.
You must put stress on your body.
No, you don't. That's the thing. If you look at healthy humans in nature, they're not putting themselves in stress all the time.
Yes, stress as in stress is not like we're not using that term as like your boss is up your ass. We're talking about yes, you are stressing the muscle, you're causing the whatchamajiggy acid, then it heals, it fibers stronger, and you improve. Oh, G-Spot! You're following me around, hating like a broke-ass hoe. Let's find your picture that... G-Spot, everybody in this community is sick of this picture, and you're talking shit like you never seen it. I'm about to make you look stupider than your trailer hick-ass looks already. God, I've never said a word to that boy, and he wants to suck moose off. He starts chasing me to every panel today. He's a fucking bitch. Talking about, I can dunk. I can dunk. You have bad genes. I can dunk. Man, fucking redneck yokel. He's mad because Paul made fun of him for having multiple G names. His daddy wasn't happy with him. No, he's not happy. G-Spot, come to fucking Denver, see if you ever leave with that shit. Come talk that meth shit in my fucking barrio if your cracker ass gets all the way to my doxed address without meeting the Locho end, and we'll see if you make it home to say you won't talk that shit anymore. Fucking punk ass. Oh, guys, keep going. I'll find it. I got a lot of stuff on this hard drive. We'll bring up a couple extra ones too, because I know you guys are sick of the arm raised one. And I mean, oh my God, G-Spot, you saw the fucking Never Call Paul video, didn't you? That was me. Whenever Wes Watson's like giving the advice and I start popping up the other pictures, those were all me, bro. Fucking read a fucking room. Yeah, we're not even gonna do it.
So Anglo, that's his Benjamin Orr in the Browns jersey of the Cars, and he died of pancreatic cancer. So presumably, in spite of having the best medical treatment and presumably he had enough money to get the best nutrition, he would still be alive, presumably, if he had talked to you, it sounds like.
Yes, he would, because I mean, the medical establishment, they're not trying to keep you alive.
Well, but if you pay them enough money, they will keep a person alive. A person of means can certainly find a doctor who will keep them alive.
No,
Of course they can.
No, because every doctor.
Of course they can.
Every
it's
doctor,
called give them more money than
every
anybody
doctor,
else will give them. See.
Oh.
So you're not.
Every doctor in the system has the same tool.
See, he's not tracking there. So even if
So
the
here's the
doctor,
thing.
real quick, if the doctor is not providing proper treatment, there has to be a doctor that someone of means can find who does know what to do. You can't tell me that there's nobody with medical training who doesn't know what Anglo Elite knows. That's not a possibility.
And also, Benton, we've already had generations of people smoking, drinking, eating McDonald's, just eating the Walmart quote unquote food, and we're still hitting the average 75 to 80. You can't
Not the average.
really.
That's not the average amount of that. That's what they want you to think. Humans are meant to live about 150 years old.
Oh,
So they're cutting our
God.
lifespan into half with all these vaccinations.
Who would want to live 150 years?
Yeah,
in
that's
this
what more do you have
nightmare?
to do, sir?
Well,
I'd be good
if you have a
with
good quality of
75
life,
to 80.
if you have a good quality of life, why not live 150 years old, right? But the thing is they want you debilitated right as soon as you enter, retiree age, because they want you to die. They don't want to float your bill with Social Security and pension and all that shit. They want you dead.
So who's keeping the Rolling Stones alive?
I don't know. I mean, for all those celebrities, I don't know.
So if the Rolling Stones could be kept alive, certainly Benjamin Orr could be kept alive.
Well, I mean, they may be more higher up,
But you understand, you're losing to the logic, right?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're losing to logic here, sir.
No, because there's higher ups.
No.
And also,
yes,
these people, these
you are losing to logic, sir.
G-Spot, chat your age.
These celebrities and stuff, like, we don't really know. There could be like clones. Who knows? We really don't know what the establishment tells us. Like, everything on the world stage could just be a lie.
Well, I think I've had enough of that topic. Anything else going on, Anglo Elite?
Is this dude talking about how many stock accounts he has?
I don't know.
That's what Moose was doing on London Man's stream whenever I was.
If you really believe the Rolling Stones are like the epitome of health or whatever, I mean, they don't look healthy at all.
Well, they don't look healthy, but they're old AF, bro.
I look healthier than every 48-year-old in this town. That means nothing.
And Keith Richards snorted a line of coke with his dad's ashes in it and beats me for substance.
Other than the low body weight, of course.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to get this in depth on food, if I'm getting my 75 to 80 years, I'll just go back to fucking doing meth. If that's what we're like, that's whenever people used to ask, what do you think of that Death Wish coffee? I don't know. I used to do meth. Like, I don't really get a lot from coffee.
Indeed.
Ben, you gotta try the diet, man.
No, I don't have to do anything but live and die. The list of things Benton has to do include live and die. I don't have to do anything beyond that other than breathe the air and shelter and such. Although if I'm in the right part of the country, I don't even technically need shelter. So actually I don't have to do anything but live and die. But thank you.
Gary Baxter, I'll say this
Shout
for
out
you
to I Am the
and
Tao.
D-Spot. My entire meth career was getting raises and moved up the ladder in college degree level jobs, getting rich in the stock market. It's illegal, smokable Adderall. Bottom line. Moderation is key. And I'm unaffected by withdrawals of any drug because I had a West Virginia dad. Like, there is no drug withdrawal that tops growing up with my father. So G-Spot,
Thanks, Dow.
quit hiding.
Appreciate the $1.99.
I told you this was coming.
Much appreciated.
Sound
sir.
off. Show us you're in there. And Jimbo, the R word. Did you get it yet?
Benton, I mean, you don't need to live on a farm to get good food.
So how do I obtain an animal? How do I obtain these animals to eat raw? Because we're not talking about eating raw steak. We're talking about the entire animal, nose to tail. How do I obtain said animal?
No, I'm telling you, you can
You
just start off with
stalk
raw
them
steak.
like an undead creature of the night that thirsts for the blood of the innocent.
Just stick with raw steak if you like. You don't have to eat raw organs.
So what's the longest period of time you've eaten steak and eggs on a daily basis?
I've eaten it every day.
For what period of time?
About a year.
Okay, I have exceeded that in the past, sir. I did that for almost 2 years.
But where were you getting your meat from?
See, I've done something wrong. I'm a heretic. See, do you see his logic here? I've done something wrong. I'm a heretic. So even though I ate steak and eggs for 2 years and he did for 1 year, I've done something wrong. See, I didn't eat the right steak. I didn't cook it properly. See.
Were you cooking?
See, I'm a heretic. I did not behave correctly, and now I'm being punished. See, you see what this is? This is actually religion we're talking about now.
Were you cooking your food though?
Depends on what you consider cooking.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a rare cut of steak, do you consider that cooked?
I'm not understanding your question. I'm just.
If you go to Outback, say, give me a rare steak, do you consider that cooked?
I do consider it cooked.
Okay,
yeah.
then yes, I was eating rare steak. Cold red center.
Salty, if we get a chance. I still eat meat,
red
and I'm
center.
getting off all pig because of
Did you eliminate salt and all this other stuff?
layers of fantasy.
See, again, I'm a heretic. It's funny how at first it's, hey, man, it's easy. Just do these things. And then it was like, well, I did those things. Oh, well, it turns out you didn't do these other things. So if I say I did those other things, then there's going to be yet more things that I didn't do, see?
Well, I mean, the things that you're exposing, that you're saying you're doing.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the day when someone says, you know what? I never thought of it that way. That's interesting. It's just funny how I have all these novel thoughts and people like to hear me talk, but I get on these panels and literally nobody ever just says, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. But I'm speaking to a person here in which I can never make a point. It's impossible for me to make a valid point with this person.
And ice grills, I agree, pig is delicious. I still stopped eating it because of the people factor. I'm just not going to risk it. And Benton, one thing I still question my meat eating on is like, we know that all things on this planet are killing and eating each other. But that book we take as word from our God, it only says, thou shalt not kill. There's no subtext. There's no asterisks. And I mean, probably a lot of talk of people eating animals and stuff, sacrificing them. But still, those commandments, it just says, thou shalt not kill. And I'll admit that question comes up because of that wizard Merlin in the 21 Lessons of Merlin. This is one of the things he taught.
Hey, Tommy.
The guy that.
Tommy, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a one-on-one with O'Shea if he's down. I need to chat with O'Shea real quick. Is there anything else?
You want to do that to yourself, I guess.
Is there anything else you need to get in real quick, or?
Yeah. O'Shea, man, you had me at Flat Earther Parade, and nothing since, man. Lose the unslaved subtext. Do you? You don't have much time left. Maybe less than Benton. Dude, you had it on Flat Earther Parade Day, and like Z, you just went cucking on back. Now stop it.
Appreciate that, Tom. Tom is motivational speaker, life coach, dude. I like it.
Yeah, man. What's up, O'Shea? Good to see you, brother.
Oh man, it must be a divine intervention because I just made a faux pas. I was gonna go live myself, and then I thought Paul was on your stream. I was listening to Paul on my phone, but I had my laptop out, and I thought I was listening to your stream while I was looking at it.
Oh,
okay.
Like,
Paul's on it, so I'll just go up there. I was like, there's no point in me going live. I don't know. That's how I ended up here just now. But here we are. So it's sorry to I interrupted Tommy's impassioned
No,
empowering.
Tommy's good. Tommy's good.
Right. But yeah, I think we're both dying. I think I got some kidney problems.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's like my shit's going gray, dude, this last fucking year. Like all of a sudden my chest hairs are going gray, more grays in my head.
Yeah, we got this guy Anglo Elite who can help you with all of these problems. He knows exactly what to do to fix your health. So.
You know what's really cool about what you said the other day? I said, like I'm afraid, right? I got these tickets coming up. I got fear. And you go, fear can be a sign of kidney problems. And it was like, and you said that.
I know.
Like,
I know.
And so like the way I was looking at it was like fear causes your kidneys to get damaged. But then
backwards.
You're saying,
yeah.
Developing kidney problems for whatever reason, which is stimulating fear, which like, all right, let me try to take so like they say certain planets are connected to your organs, right?
Okay.
So if there's a planet connected to your kidneys that's like involved with your kidneys somehow, and there's even plants involved with your kidneys, and then you're having kidney problems and it's causing fear to become an issue in your life, that's such an interesting way to look at things. Instead of like, oh, I'm being afraid, which is causing me. There's probably some sort of paradox, co-symbiotic thing.
Yeah, it's wild, huh? How it all connects.
Right. Right, man. The interconnectedness of things. That's what I learned from a meditation once. How connected everything is. Brought a lot of peace. You just look around and you just can see the interconnectedness of it, like a web, a giant spider web. And it just brings a lot of peace. Because a lot of times, that's what they teach us, right? You disconnect, you isolate. Like you could be in a community of a bunch of apartment buildings, but still be in your own individual collection, your own individual TV. You've isolated around a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm listening. There's some technical problems I'm trying to address. But my mic is going to be louder no matter what, just to let you know. Just so the audience knows. I'm going through OBS for my audio, so my mic will be louder, and there's really nothing I can do about that.
I just turned my mic all the way up.
Yeah.
Pop something up.
I'm just trying to let them know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't know, Benton. I was about to go live. I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to get into?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I wanted to cover was, these people who want to provide me information to try to resolve my health issues. But the reality is, it's very much possible that if I could switch to a diet of eating entire raw animals such as goat and sheep, that could possibly allow me to extend my life. However, until somebody says, hey, you can come live with us and you can eat our animals here in exchange for whatever it is I can offer them, what we're getting into is something I like to talk about, which is called no man is an island. And it's a concept in which now it seems like in our society, I'm expected to literally do everything for myself and provide everything for myself, which is in many ways the opposite of community, is it not? So, I have the intellectual knowledge to know that if I actually just ate entire animals, not meat from the grocery store, but animals, I probably could put on weight and extend my life. But this is more or less an impossibility unless I devote the remainder of my life to acquiring a farm and raising these animals and butchering them myself. I'm not going to do that realistically. So I wanted to see what you thought of that, Mr. O'Shea.
And I've been struggling a little bit because I've been doing this vegetarian thing for a minute now, ever since I came on Paul's panel and got some good game on the vegetarian life. I've been doing it. I had some chicken the other day because some woman gave it to me. She gave it to me and I didn't want to waste it, so I had chicken in a meal, but that was like really the only thing basically for like 9 months. So I'm like wondering, dude, like what I'm saying, seeing these gray hairs and feeling a certain way, like if I should start incorporating meat again. But the moral aspect, dude, got me every time I go down that road. There's something like Paul's thoughts on it, dude. Something morally So I said, hey man, if my health's going to be affected, so be it. We'll figure that out.
Heavy topics, to be sure.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, like for you, like physician heal thyself, right? So what do you think, dude, with that statement? You got all these people that want to give you advice, like you say, but physician heal thyself. What do you, in your gut? I'll have all the information in our gut. What does your gut tell you should do about this health situation? In terms of the miracle you could have.
You're presupposing that I want to hang around in this nightmare, though, right? So if I presuppose, yeah, because people are just assuming that I'm trying to hang out, which I'm really not. But assuming I wanted to extend my life, I would say that going to a place where there's animals, domestic, like sheep and goats, and slaughtering them and eating the entire animal, that would most likely resolve my issues for the most part. Yes. And in fact, I read a Vice article about a guy who did just that, and he had very similar symptoms to mine. I'm down to about 115 pounds. I don't know if you're aware of this. And I was 120 about less than a week ago. So the reality is I'm nearing the end of whatever this is. So but I'm at peace with it. But go ahead.
What if there was a moral thing to eating the animals? Like, let's say you were doing something, you were harming the law, the universal laws, right? You were harming that somehow to extend your life, right? Or something that you don't even want to really, like, it could be like just like your time or something that you're okay with, like you're saying, you don't want to be here, maybe. So it's just like, why potentially hurt animals to extend something you don't even want?
Well, but if I go to in one example we have because people are not. When people say they eat meat, they're buying it at the supermarket. So until society, and I don't agree, by the way, I have no problem eating animals myself, none whatsoever. However, let's assume that there is some sort of morality involved. Whether you, Brian O'Shea, go to the store and buy meat or not, the same number of animals get slaughtered regardless. Changes nothing. Now, if enough people begin to think like you, then of course things would change.
Well, it changes. It's all... But nothing changes for the people slaughtering animals if that's a issue between them and God. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't participate in it, then
oh yeah, you individually. But see, I have no issue with eating animals whatsoever. None.
Right. You ever meditate on death?
I do a lot of, when I meditated regularly, and in fact, well, anyway, how much do you want to get into the meditation? Because I have a lot of experience. So I like talking about meditation.
Yeah, I would like to get into meditation, and I would like to specifically right now get into death meditation.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with that?
Well, I think you're referring to like specific Eastern practices. So no, I haven't done any of those. If you're talking about a specific Eastern practice, no.
No, I'm not talking about a specific. I just... I think Alan Watts introduced me to it, where you just like, the way I did it was I sat in a chair and I was like, okay, if I had a heart attack right now and fell out of this chair, and you just go through it.
Yes.
Someone's going to find me.
Okay.
Someone's going to go through my pockets, find an ID.
Gotcha.
You just go through the steps and you contemplate / meditate on it.
So yes, to answer your question, I do that every day, because when I look in the mirror, I look like someone in a concentration camp. No, literally. Literally.
Model, or a male model. That's the look.
No, because I can see my entire pelvis now, and I have no butt. No butt. It's gone.
Well, that's
not a male model. No, the models, you can't see their entire fucking pelvis. No way.
It used to be Adonis's. Now it's...
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree, and I understand the joke there. I understand. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, even if I remain serious, it doesn't mean I'm missing your context. But yeah, I like talking to you.
The women were known for being a heroin addict. The models.
Yeah, heroin chic. Yeah, heroin chic. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. Kate Moss apparently started that, they say. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into this meditation shit, dude. Yeah, so what I got out of the death meditation, I've mentioned it quite a few times, is how enlivening, life-bringing, energizing, healthy it is, and how uncommon that would be in the West. That'd be creepy. Why are you gonna think about
Yeah.
like you try talk about your parents or family? What a weirdo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Well, and just so you know, I started my formal practice of meditation years ago when I forced myself to sit cross-legged in meditation at least once a day for 90 straight days, but I actually averaged closer to 3. It was a solid 2+ per day. And just the sitting, the hips hurting and the keeping the straight back, just that's difficult initially. But then I did a formal practice of meditation over enough time that it is a practice, as you know, and I'm pretty good at it. So I am in a meditative state much of the day. I'm not Talcott, where I claim to, on my own website, to always be in a meditative state. But first I did the breath meditation, but eventually I did third eye meditation, where I focus on, the spot between and slightly above the two eyes. And
you think of it as like a piece of light?
Well, I just observe it. It's more, for me, it's perception and sensation. And I'm one of the...
What does it look like?
Well, real quick, I'm one of supposedly 1% of the population. I can't visualize. I cannot form visual pictures. Like, I see nothing. I don't see anything.
Yeah. And but you have the concept of where it is and what it is.
Perception, yes, sir. So my perception is, and you'll find this interesting, I believe, is before I did any meditation, I was unaware of this area, because I do consider a lot of validity to the chakra system and everything. So looking back on it, that third eye was very closed off, and thus my physical vision was closed off to some extent in my experience. But then after that meditation, it seems like now the expansion occurred at a certain point. So from what I remember, I seem to be perceiving much more, but it's not visual perception, but it's like a perception, like an intuitive perception. Certainly. So yeah, I love all this stuff. I'm into it.
Yeah. Paul brings it up where it's like how you think, not what you think. And it's like if you could get into these like Zen flow states or meditative things, it's like say for instance me with dealing with these court thing coming up in less than a week. Like they say sometimes, like if you're filled with the spirit or whatever, like the words will come to you. You're just in that spot, peaceful, centered, in truth. Like the words just kind of come to you in the moment, because see, I'm all caught up in fear. Like, but that's why it's inspiring, motivating me to get back into my meditative things, because I have a lot of practice with it too.
Mm-hmm. I know, I can tell.
It's a skill. So it's a skill, right? Like,
yes.
And it's like anything else. It's like all the hours I put into it, just like all the hours I put into poker, or all the hours you can put into anything, like jujitsu, all the hours I put into that. Like there's something there that you can tap back into. You might regress on your skill level for not practicing, but it's like you never forget how to ride a bike thing or something like that.
Shout out to Joe R, by the way.
Good. At least you've already experienced it. Yeah, and you got hours logged in. Yeah, so that's a nice thing, dude. Meditation.
Yeah, man. Most people don't develop that ability, and my focus and concentration increased greatly as a result. My ability to focus and concentrate.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yes.
It's interesting, these conversations. Like something so seemingly so simple and so individual could have so much positive in life.
Well, and I don't know, just speaking for myself, I had so many things from my past that were unresolved. When I started meditating, it's the most difficult thing I've ever done, because in order to, and old Benton is competitive, so of course I was getting to where I could stay in a meditative state for like 45 minutes at a time. It's not possible, in my experience, for a person to do that without facing these things that I have been repressing in the past, if that makes sense. So contending with those issues was the most difficult and brutal thing I've ever been through. And I made myself do it. And I'm proud of that, man.
So through the silence, like you couldn't run certain thoughts. It's kind of how I'm imagining. So you're sitting there about to do your meditation. Things are just coming up that you'd rather, because you're just forced, you're sitting there like.
I've not been facing. Yes.
Because the meditation is the emptying or the void, the blackness. And as you're attempting that, there's like things are there that
the thoughts are coming, right? So here's how I describe meditation. And I'm not talking to you. I'm more talking to the audience. So I think about it because I used to lift. Used to do a lot of weightlifting. I know you can tell by looking at me, but I did used to lift a lot of weights. And I think about meditation like weightlifting. So when I choose to focus on my breathing, so first I'm locked in and I'm concentrating. So as soon as my attention goes away from breathing, and then I get carried away with a thought, and now I'm just thinking, and then I realize, oh, I'm meditating, and I direct my focus back to my breath. That's one repetition, like weightlifting, if that makes sense. So then over time, I'm building up that muscle, the ability to remain in a meditative state. That's how I perceive it anyway. See if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, man, it's kind of good, I guess. Divine intervention that I came up here, mistakenly thinking. I really need the meditation in my life, because like that's what kind of happens on Paul's show. You get exposed where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's kind of, it's painful sometimes. I was just watching some of the stream from yesterday, and I was just like, okay, if I was practicing meditation regularly, if I was centered in truth and at peace, what would my presentation look like? You know what I mean? On these panels, some of these panels.
Oh, dude.
Especially when Moose comes around and starts his fucking bullshit. You put up my name and headline. I forgot I had some sort of insult to Moose on there.
Oh, yeah, hang on. Yeah, we'll do that for you.
Moose's wife's hiking instructor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shay Special Delivery. Yeah. My new company.
Well, and not to insult Moose's wife. I'm sure she's lovely, but is that really who you'd like to be spending time with? Is ladies that would marry Moose? No offense. I mean, now I'm offending everybody.
Well,
but this is how my brain works.
Well, I don't even know what she looks like, but absolutely, to like just to
for spite. Yeah, humiliation.
Demoralize, spite,
to dominate your enemies.
Revenge, rage. Yes. Yeah, just completely. Oh yeah, I'm totally into that at the moment. But if I get back to my meditation thoughts, prosperity, forgiveness, peace, love.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could bang his wife, but whatever. I'd show up and make it weird, see what happens. Just go rent a room at that hotel, anyways, and it's going away gift. He sold it, I think, yesterday.
Oh, Moose sold the motel? I
think I never know what's coming out of his mouth is true or a bit non-bit, but I think that's what he said. He was a little bit clamped, a little on the sad side. He was on Z's show talking about he just sold his hotel, moving on to brighter pastures or something. So he towels, dude. He failed at folding towels. He's got to sell the business. Towels suck. People hate the towels. All the reviews about the towels. So you got to sell it.
Getting a little too close to gossip. I try not to gossip, so just you can say whatever you want. I'm probably just not going to participate. I'm probably not going to participate.
Pissed at Moose from his fucking shenanigans with me, but
yeah.
Talking about meditation and peace.
Yes.
Stuff like that. But death, dude. I might be just as sick as you, dude. See, that's interesting, right?
But I think you're doing this to what are you doing? You look.
I'm doing
anyway.
I look well, right? But yeah. So I've been accused of having this. What do they call it when you think you're sick?
Oh, hypochondria.
Hypochondria.
See, I've never been a hypochondriac ever. Never in my life. Never.
I don't know. I think I have kidney issues. But you know what? If you look at my family, my Irish family, like on both sides, they're just bad. But they don't get like diabetes. It seems like they might die from cancer, like in the real old or something. It's some fucking weird face cancer.
You probably got the best kidneys on the planet, man. The Irish can't drink for 50 years with bad kidneys. I mean, let's be serious.
Right. So I just kind of like I get on my munchies and my donut eating, and I'm like, I'm already got kidney problems. It's like.
Hey, let me. Sorry. Yeah, that might be fucking up your kidneys, but let me lay this on you. Because of my health issues, I've had none of that food. I haven't had one soda, one piece of junk food for over a year. I don't even think about it. So there's something in the mind where you could just never eat those things again and be completely fine. But before my illness, I ate those things on occasion. My thing was more pizza. Like once a week, I'd crush a large pizza, right? Other than that, I ate pretty good for the most part.
Yeah, and there's a discipline in that. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
and that's like a practice, right? You're practicing discipline, and you got yourself with this food thing. Yeah, and I can relate. Shit, I was on a carnivore diet for a minute, dude. I ate nothing but ribeyes.
Me too. Yeah.
3 times a day, ribeyes, dude.
It was great. I loved it. Now I have almost no appetite. I could just not eat. Like I could go breatharian at this point, no problem. Like no fucking.
You might want to try, dude. See what the fuck happens. Go look at the sun and breathe and like a tree. Just
I do that anyway. But
I'm a fucking tree. I'm a photosynthesize some shit somehow. The trees could do it. You look at nature. How the fuck are they doing it? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna bury my feet in some dirt. I'm gonna stand out here, look at the sun. I'm gonna breathe and think about being provided for, dude. Maybe it's a whole, because they say I got my tooth removed, right? My first tooth removed, and they say you could think about getting your tooth put back in. I think Jeep Girl made a joke about age germ in your mouth. I don't think that's bring it back because she's fucking with me, trying to get me to put old piss in my mouth. But think about that, dude. I wonder about that, dude. I think I made a mistake in this tooth. Can you will yourself to a new tooth being formed?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
You think it's possible?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. But when you say will, you got my attention.
Will.
Anything involving will is my wheelhouse. Hey,
my middle name is William.
Hey, nice.
Which comes from Scottish. And Helm, it's Wilhelm, like helm, like helmet. And your willpower, your will. So it's a warrior helmet, strong-willed warrior. So yeah, your will, dude. That's what a lot of us, dude, that are on these panels or in these like sort of like performing. Like we're probably a lot of strong-willed individuals. To get to this point we're at now.
Yes.
As we look around, we could give ourselves a pat on the back for that, dude, for being a strong-willed. And where does that come from? Is that an innate thing? That's not really that's not so much practice, right? It's something innately.
Yeah.
You come into this realm with maybe.
I think so.
A strong will, you know.
My whole family, well, not my whole family. Both my sisters, very strong-willed people. My dad, not so much. My mom, definitely. It probably comes from my mom's side, I'm guessing. Who knows? It's interesting.
So, the will to do good. Yeah, that's part of the meditation. You ask for the will to do good, and you think about other people and to do good. They don't just talk about doing that. Isn't that what this whole truther community is? Talking.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much acting.
Well, my opinion is this is all about dealing with our social isolation. That's my opinion. That's the major thing that the people are doing. It's a lot of very high levels of social isolation across the board in Western society. And I don't think that's debatable, yeah.
And they're socially isolated around each other or packed in to like big cities, like say New York, for example.
But I don't even think that's the issue. I think the issue is because we now, in this, sorry to cut you off, but because we now know exactly what these people are because of the fake pandemic, it's that most of us can't really go out here and have real conversations. I talk to people all the time in public. I was trained to do so by the Jehovah's Witness cult, but in reality, that's not going to do anything about my social isolation in the long run. I need to talk about ideas, so I pretty much have to come on the metaverse, right? It's just how can you find these people? It's and make a living and do everything you need to do every day. People are too busy, by the way. I can barely even see my own family between where they live. Everybody's spread out, and everybody's busy, man. What do you think? Feel free to disagree, by the way. Feel free to disagree.
No, it seems like it would be ideal to be able to have things in a personal, offline, like on a piece of land together. But we know that that's not going to work, really. Like right now, we can't do that. So like, we're in a simulation, but we're creating our own sort of simulation, like right now, this moment of us online talking with the audience is more true to like us being on a land, like it is us being on around each other, but we're with each other in spirit, dude.
There you go. I like that. That's well said.
The spirit, you know, because the way I was just visualizing it is like you're in heaven, but you're looking at the earth. The earth would seem like a simulation, right? But we're on earth looking at heaven, creating our heaven on earth through this interaction with the people. So even though privately around me, you've got all these NPCs and fucked up people I can't have time to speak my truth because it's dangerous. They'll fucking kill me or put me in jail or shun me or whatever the fuck. It just won't be positive.
Well, and
but through the ether, the spirit will communicate it.
Well, and I would say these people are no longer capable of meeting our needs, our meaning the so-called truth community. These bozos and the general public can no longer meet our needs socially. I think that's really what it's come down to in the long run. That's my opinion, but it seems that way.
Right, because you'll still see people with masks on, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, dude, it just,
that's never
I just can't
gonna stop. That's never going to stop.
But when I see it, dude, I'm just like, I'll see someone, I'll see a random person, like I'll see him, you know, and I just have so much disdain, dude. I guess I got to work that out because I have like a vile, I just want to fucking slap them, dude. Just slap the fucking mask right off their fucking face. Dude. Like, but how meditative and fucking, but then I have to look at that, dude. Where have the mask on? With this court shit, this fear with this court shit, I'm a fucking dumbass with a mask on. I might as well be walking into a court with a mask on. Because I'm the dumbass who can't fucking see reality. That they're wrong, I'm right. Like the way I've been thinking about it lately is like Paul said, it'd be nice if we had a bunch of teenagers or a bunch of youth that would get involved in this shit. And he goes, it'd be fucking over, right? You got all these youth fucking showing up in court, like fuck you, you guys are wrong. Put us in jail, whatever. Like, you know, this is just what it is. I'm going with my heart. You know what I mean? So I have to. Or I'm not saying I have to. I'm not saying what I'll do with this courtship, but I just envision it like when I interact with these people, just have that fucking presence about you, dude. Just confident. Like instead of being a bitch with a mask on and fear these people, just know that I am in the power position. I have fucking God on my side, right? I have the river of life. I have that flow. Like, so fuck these people, right? Like. I don't know what I'm gonna do, dude. Guess I'm just admitting my fear, dude, and my mask. Like we want to make fun of people walking around with their masks on. It's retarded. Where are we retarded? You know?
Yes. Yes. I've got a famous quote from Thomas Merton was something like, "If you love peace, you know, if you love or if you hate." You know, if you hate, you know, injustice, you despise, you know, what's wrong. Don't hate those things in another person. Hate them within yourself. So I think that's a paraphrase of a quote. And he was a Trappist monk, technically a Catholic. Thomas Merton. He wrote a lot of pretty good shit that I've read.
Yeah, these monks, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You said a Catholic monk?
Yeah, Trappist. It's a form of Catholicism. It's like a subset or whatever, but yeah.
It's interesting.
Trappist. Yeah, he lived in a monastery for many years.
Yeah, Catholicism and the positive aspects of it, or the positive things that in my research that things that I've come across individuals. Like, for example, this gentleman that wrote a book called People of the Lie, M. Scott Peck. In there, he brought up this exorcist. His name's Malachi Malcolm or something like that. And he was a Catholic priest who did exorcisms because they were all doing this thing on evil and narcissism. How do you treat it? He was a therapist, M. Scott Peck, and he tried working with narcissists, kind of like how Paul does, you know. And sometimes you just got to. Sometimes with some people, the only way to do it is like take whatever they're dealing with it and take it like a spear to the heart and kill yourself. But you don't die. Like you get stabbed in the heart, Like you're trying to work with these people and you fucking get stabbed in the heart. I don't know how to describe it, dude. He was trying to describe it, but somehow I don't know. You have to become wounded and survive it for them somehow through trying to deal with it. I don't know. I'd have to research that, come back with a more coherent fucking thing. But like exorcisms, dude. What do you think of that? Exorcising of demons.
I have firsthand experience, sir. And furthermore, if you remember back when Paul was having people pick a cult number and then a job title. I went in there and said, well, I can't identify as a cult member. I added a number, so I went in there, Benton 303, because that was a link to my famous relative. And then in my text below that, it said exorcist. That's what I picked for my function.
Because if this is spiritual warfare, and on these panels, Paul probably is the expert at it of showing us the demon, right? People come on panel and they you know what I mean? It's like if someone's body was translucent and you could see what's in there and you'd see, oh, there's the real person. And it's like Paul could see, or some of us that are adept at this, they could see the demon and then they're able to like show other people, like, or bring it out, right? And then you'll see the demon. We do it. I do it. Like we'll vomit it, head spin around. We're all anger. Eyes probably fucking change, look different.
I got one left that I know of, O'Shea. Can you guess which one? It's not sexual, nothing sexual.
You got one left in regards to what?
Well, and real quick, I'm not going to go all Jesus, but part of the reason why I have my own beliefs is that I have a specific testimony that I was delivered from wicked spirits, unclean spirits, and demonic spirits in that powerful name of Jesus. But again, we're not a religious channel, so I'm not trying to go there, but that's my testimony. But I got one left that I've detected, and and here's my experience of exorcism, O'Shea, is the wicked spirit, it wants to do everything it can to stay within a human host or a human's energy sphere, right? Because supposedly everything is vibrating energy, so that would necessarily include my own what I refer to as my energy sphere. It's like 6 feet all around me from my perception. And by the way, I do have 4 of what I would refer to as guardian angels. There's no doubt that I've been spiritually protected and guided my entire life. I mean, you'll never convince me otherwise. So what happens is the demonic spirit or entity, when it is made to leave, when it's evicted, it ascends the spine and it is expelled through coughing out of the throat chakra. And I've experienced this multiple times. And the demon of wrath was on the verge of getting expelled, and it knew it, and it was having to rise up, and it went down deep and hid. So now it shows itself just enough to be able to feed just enough to keep itself at whatever level it needs to be at. But it knows if it comes on too intensely, then I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. It's gonna have to come out. So it's gone deep underground. But I'll get that one eventually. So all this sex stuff I talk about, that's that's a demon, man. So all this, my opinion is all this same sex stuff, it's demons. And all these perversions, it's all demonic. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's like these ayahuasca ceremonies, that people purge and that physical representation of a spiritual malady. You know what I mean? You're vomiting.
Well, real quick, if I can cut you off real quick, something personal to me is I've had intense pain, like in my shoulder and my back, like upper part of my right, like my whole life, right? And the more I connected to my own physicality and the more I did the meditation and the more I'm in tune with things, at a certain point I realized the only way this is ever going to heal up and be normal will involve some version of extreme dieting or extreme fasting. And what I've seen recently, as my body weight continues to decline and I'm in a state of semi-starvation, I'm essentially doing a form of fasting even though I'm eating food, and it's getting better. Like that area is improving. It's and I've known this somehow for years now. So maybe eventually my energy sphere, or my whatever this is, that I'm encapsulated in, whatever my essence is, maybe it will eventually be completely purified, but still with a human consciousness where, I'm not going to be perfected because I'm still operating with a human consciousness, but the actual vessel itself, right, spiritually and energetically, seems like it will reach a point of just, everything that's supposed to be there is there. Anything foreign is gone. I do see that potentially happening.
Like the human body in its homeostatic.
Well, but more of a spiritual thing, not really worrying about the actual health of the body and how it appears, but how I interact with it as far as perceptually. Because what happened to me was, when I talked about this meditation, I wasn't even aware of how much tension I had in my shoulders, how tight I was. So the more I meditated, I then became aware of this tension. So then eventually I said, okay, I need to direct my concentration into those tissues, and I need to figure out, because I knew, right, from studying and learning that, a lot of this is just stagnated emotional pain, right? So it's things that I've encountered that I have never dealt with, and since I didn't deal with them, I actually captured that negative energy, and it became entrapped in my energy sphere, right? This was my perception of this. So over time, I've been able to direct my focus, experience these events that we could refer to as traumatic, and that's, so bit by bit, it's been released over time, but what's still in there is necessarily the most darkest, deepest things that I don't want to face, right? So when I initially went into it, it was just a lot of stuff about my family, being abused as a child through having to be a Jehovah's Witness, being forced into that, right? And so eventually I don't resent my parents anymore. I'm not angry with them anymore. I'm not angry with the religion, right? But there's something still in there, and I will figure out what it is, and I will get shed of it. That's how we call it. That's how we refer to that in my culture. Yeah, I'm going to get shed of it. Or I'll die trying, one of the two. And I work on these things every day going back 10 plus years. I love it, man. I love getting up and just working on some shit without knowing what the end result is. Like, and Paul's talked about that before too, just little bits in a different way, but working on things little bit by little bit every day. And man, 10 years goes by, now the person is way, way advanced compared to what they were, right?
Yeah, the long game, the long approach.
Yep, that's right.
And because things are cyclical, you're just more in tune with a flow, right? The circle's always going to be flowing and going. Circle of time, the wheel of time, whatever, wheel of karma, dharma. So if you're playing the long game, you're just really just in the flow. If you're not playing the long game, you're playing a short game, and you're stifling the flow. There's no other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's gonna be comforting, because it's like, oh, I made all these mistakes. I gotta fix everything, fucked everything up, and I'm this age, and I'm not gonna have time to fix everything. And it's like, no, it's a long game. You might get reincarnated into this fucking thing, like you're saying. Like, if you don't work on that wrath and shit, you might cycle back here, because that's what you're here to do, is work on that. That's the whole point of all this, probably. It's just to work all this type of shit out.
So, and real quick, O'Shea, so back to people wanting to extend my lifespan and me talking about having a desire to get out of here. The reality is, as far as I can tell, I have transcended the limitations I was born into. So most likely I have accomplished whatever that mission is already. So it's like a video game. I've completed the main storyline. Now I'm on side missions. So it's like, okay, now can I empty myself and get out of my own way enough to be used by whatever you want to call whatever that force is, of super intelligent force of love, or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying not to say God, or I'm trying to stay out of a religious context, but it seems to me like that's what's keeping me going on some level. And I've been used by that force many, many times. I just don't necessarily talk about it a lot, right? It's been very interesting being a person here in the realm in 2023. But I've known for a while, it seems like I pretty much, because as far as I can tell, only one person was born when I was born, where I was born, and came up out of it at a spiritual and mental level, I haven't met anybody else that's from, the culture I'm from, who talks like I talk, who, was raised a certain type of way that speaks and thinks and understands on these levels. I haven't met that person. Maybe they exist. I don't know. I haven't seen them. Seems like I'm the one who made it. And if that's the case, I have to figure, well, okay, millions and millions and millions of people got born into similar circumstances. Eventually, one of them's got to figure it out. And yeah, it sounds arrogant. It sounds narcissistic. That's not my concern how it sounds. If it's real and it's true, that's all I care about, sir. That's my concern. How it sounds to other people, that's their problem. Anyway, if you have something to say, I would appreciate it.
Yeah. I just kind of. You said you were born.
Well,
came out of
incarnated, right? When I passed through my mother's womb into this realm, right? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And that happened.
Well, no, I see where you're taking this, but yeah. I see where you're going. Those are interesting. Well, no, those are interesting.
Yeah, because it's like we don't have firsthand direct knowledge of that, right?
Yeah.
We just have a knowledge that we were here at some point. We've been told we passed through a vagina.
Well, I want to say this though. For me, myself, I had to take charge of my mental health many years ago because I realized that I was not willing to go to the mental health system and become medicated. So part of the way I keep my mental health correct is I don't think about things like you just mentioned. That's bad for me. If I get too disoriented and too untethered, it's very, very bad for me personally. So I just don't go there. I can listen to you say those things, but I don't take my thinking there. But I see your line of reasoning, and it has a lot of validity, by the way. You're not saying anything wrong or invalid. I'm merely saying that I choose not to dwell on those things, me personally. But you're not wrong, as far as I can tell.
No, it's not like I had a conviction on some of the stuff. I was just kind of free flow thinking, like kind of goes back to like when the police ask you what's your name and date of birth and that shit. It's like, well, people have been calling me Brian. I've heard that on this date.
Yeah. I understand.
You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about truth here, right? If you want to say the truth is you came out of that vagina, I don't think you have firsthand direct knowledge.
No, but I understand what you're saying. My point is I've necessarily chosen to accept certain things that may or may not actually be true, right? In order to function day to day. I did that. So, but I understand what you're saying. You just can't. My mindset's not going to change as a result of what you're saying, but I agree with what you're saying as far as logic and reason goes.
But let's just get that rat demon up out of you, dude. Let's just.
No, not right now. Not in the library.
Get that motherfucker out of it.
No,
I want to see that motherfucker.
Dude, I almost did it.
Be careful what I wish for.
Hey, man, it almost happened on stream, and probably the fact that I would consider that to be a private thing is why I did not continue to go ahead and get it up out. And it's not, for me, it's not something that should be used for entertainment anyway, personally. It's a real thing, though. For me, it's a real thing. It's a real thing for me, I should say. Can't speak for anybody else.
Jezebel spirit?
No, I never had that, thank God. Never had to worry about that.
You know, women like that?
No, man, we were not allowed to be anything approaching feminine in the culture in which I was socialized. Yeah. All the young males when and where I grew up passed into manhood through rites of passage, every single fucking one of us, or we weren't accepted in our community. It's a real thing. Dude, listen to this, man. I went to school with a kid whose nickname was Pussy, and not in a good way, because for one reason and one reason only, he would not stand up to the people who called him that. And he was a big, strong kid who played football. But see, I was the smallest kid in school till 9th grade. These people couldn't have called me that name. I wouldn't have tolerated it, see. It's something in me. I'm not, there's nothing I can do about that part of it. But even still, it was a very overly masculinized culture in that way. Like, nobody ever, if I got angry and then lashed out in anger, that was never considered wrong or bad. It's very strange. Like there are some harmful aspects to just allowing the male aggression to just more or less do whatever it wants, right? In the young males, but yeah, we were very testosteroneized and masculinized. And in the South, college football is the biggest thing there is, right? So there's a lot of there was a lot of that. There's a lot of fist fighting and things of that nature. But more is that like, the male hierarchy, right? The jockeying for position. Who's the top dog, right? I think that's gone now, O'Shea. I don't think that exists for the most part anymore. In the U.S. anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting, like the prevalence of like with youth, whether you're white or black, like rap music, hip hop music, drill culture is like the most popular form of. So you got these white kids looking up to the black community, and the black children, instead of fist fighting, they just shoot each
Yeah.
certain communities,
That's
right?
true, yeah.
There's no longer you're going to lose a fight. There's no longer you're going to look stupid.
Yep.
And if you do lose the fight and look stupid, you're going to go back and murder to avenge that loss.
Yes. Yes.
This guy's got a video in Chicago. He works in a corner store in the hood, right? And he put fake. He's like well respected in that community. And he put fake black eye. He put like a charcoal on his eye to make it look like he got a black eye. And he told the customers who love him, they're like, yo, man. They're like, what's up with your eye? Oh, yeah, this dude came in. They're like, what the fuck? We're going right now. We're going right now. Like, they want to go murder right now. Like, girls, like, we're going right now, Khalil. We're going right now. They're like, no, fuck that shit. We're going right now. Where they at? To go murder. To have the gun. I don't have to murder, but to do something, bring a gun and something's going down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and me growing up with 4 older Irish brothers, especially the brother that was 2 years older than me, like it was like multiple times a day, like fights to the death, but not like fist fights, but more like wrestling and just like rage. Just seemed like I always get my spine fucking contorted and broken, and then I'd cry and then I'd chase. I don't know, but I was never like in the. I was scared of that, even though no one fucked with me, and I didn't really fuck with people. I was a bigger dude that liked people, but I didn't really do a lot of fist fighting in the streets.
Oh, me
One
neither.
time I did.
No, I don't believe in it, but go ahead.
Yeah. And one time this dude, like even in school, dude, I got and his older brother came up to me and he just started swinging like this. Dude wasn't even like good technique. He was swinging like windmills, and they were kind of just like hit me a little bit, and I just kind of stood there, took punches, and I was all embarrassed afterwards. We both went to the principal's office. Had to be about 4th, 5th, 6th grade. And then I'm in the principal's office feeling all stupid because I got beat up. And then I remember the next day I was just like mortified to even show up in school. Like, what a dumbass I am. I got humiliated. But I didn't even like try to swing back. I don't even know. Maybe it's just that Jezebel thing. I didn't get on like trauma from it. But, just on the subject of fist fighting. But I did do it one time, though. I went to the suburbs and got all in shape and lived with my brother to get away from the city, right? And then I went back to the city after I was all in shape and had a little money. And then I was looking for trouble. So then it was like me and my homie, and he didn't even want to fight. And the 2 dudes didn't even want to fight, but I'm starting shit at this carnival, right? I'm like, fuck y'all, this is our hood. I'm trying to gangbang and shit. So I get into a fight with someone, but not even really doing a good job at it. Just kind of like wrestling around. Yes. But that was like the one time I can remember where I was like, okay, I went into like physically start some shit. But that's kind of, yeah. But sitting there scrapping, that might have been scary or weird because I was like, we're 2 big dudes. Someone's going to get fucking hurt. I'd be like, all right, just chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I never saw the point in actually just having a fight, me personally. It always seemed pointless to me. But I couldn't let people punk me, so I had to psychologically outmaneuver people, or I chose to rather. I guess I didn't have to. Good stuff. I like it. We should do this more often, O'Shea, if you're inclined. I know you tend to go in cycles with. It seems like my perception is you kind of go in cycles. You got other things going on in your life, which is a good thing, by the way.
You're saying I'm cycling.
No, you're good, man. They're
Looping.
they're critical, man. They're critical. You know that.
Yeah, man, we should do this.
What are we doing?
Since you're gonna die, and it's
Well, we're all gonna die, O'Shea. I'm not
true.
unique.
The long,
I'm not unique.
yeah, the long linear thing. Like, yeah, what is the?
Not
what
just
am I
me.
even saying?
Yeah, people are behaving as if like I'm literally the only one who's gonna die. It's like, no, everybody's gonna die.
But what if at that moment that we call death, it's actually the birth of your true life?
Well, who knows? Be interesting. I'll, we'll find out. That's the interesting part is nobody knows. Nobody truly knows what's next. Part of the fun.
I want to be so definitive. You might know. Be in denial.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, or I've forgotten, right?
That's what this all is, Benton. It's a forgetting, but it's a will for forgetting. Back to the will.
Yes.
Because you know what the ultimate truth is. We can't say it, but you know what the ultimate truth is, right? But we won't say it.
It's 42.
But you know what?
It's 42, of course. That's a.
It's 42.
Yeah, that's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy joke. Yeah. Yep.
Not familiar with it, but
yeah, it's
you know what
from a very famous book, but a fiction book.
I mean, you know the ultimate truth, right?
I feel like this
of
is
what this all is.
You tell. I don't know. Do I?
I can't. When I say it, it won't be true.
Ah.
But it is true.
Okay.
But it's a truth that can't be said.
Is this the like?
It had to go back to forgetting.
Yeah.
Because you never learn anything, you remember it.
I think we're reaching the limitations of my IQ here. I'm actually not. I mean, I'm really not that smart considered. What people say are smart, right? I can read books and remember stuff, and I have some abilities, but yeah, the actual IQ is not that high. So goodbye. You're gonna have to find somebody smarter to have this particular conversation with. Or you don't have to, but I'm not your man in this regard.
So sometimes you could remember what you are, right? As we wake up, like you come here, you're something, and you forget it, like kind of what we're saying, like a willful forgetfulness.
Yes.
But then,
yeah,
we get fractured through our life, right? And as we get devolved from what we are, they become parts. We're not a cohesive whole. We become separate.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So as these parts become separated and scattered, you can look up. Another name for a part is a member.
Mm-hmm.
So if you remember, you solidify the pieces to the whole.
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty. All the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again.
Yes.
But all the power of the world couldn't do it.
Well, I feel like I can sum this up a little bit. Is at some point I begin to understand that, just speaking for myself only, that first I had an idea that when a child comes into the realm, that child is perfect spiritually, in my view. So then at a certain point, I realized through all these various practices and these things I was doing, I'm attempting to get back to where I started in the realm on some level. It's like, so this realm, especially since our psychologies are a product of this realm, whether we like it or not, and society and all of these things. So, the child comes in here spiritually perfect, and then something Dick Gregory said, and then the child learns to be wicked and evil and nasty from people like us, the adults. So on some level, with all of these various practices and understandings, I'm attempting to get right back where I started. So I do agree with what you just described, the fracturing, or which I view as a learning to be a person of low moral character compared to, in comparison with spiritual perfection. if that makes sense. And maybe I'm not making sense. I don't know. That's always possible too.
So a child is spiritually perfect.
In
that
my
can
view,
evolve,
yes. In
or
my
that
view.
maybe was born in an evil family or whatever. Was born in a nice family and eventually becomes an evil type person.
No, it's born into society and it learns to do all of these things that fall short of spiritual perfection. That's my view.
Right, but it also comes, right? Like some stuff, some things from the past, some dharma, karma.
Possibly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But that would be a matter of what one knows or believes or chooses to know or believe. Or, well, chooses to believe, rather, I would say, in my view. But again, this is, it's not, I'm no expert in these matters, certainly. But it's interesting. I find it all very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you have that little baby, yeah, we all had the image of a newborn baby or a little infant, right? There's no, doesn't seem like there's evil and shit. Are they?
I don't think
there's
possible.
videos of, there's videos of like children. They say, oh, this child's evil. Like this girl. There's a video of like a 6-year-old girl, and she's talking about how she's relentless on her brother, like always trying to murder him or hurt him.
Yeah,
or
she learned that from the people around her, most likely.
Right.
I'm assuming.
But they were trying to say, oh, this is just some people are just born this way, right?
I don't believe that.
But yeah, if you had that image of the newborn infant, just perfect spiritually, like you're saying. We're gonna talk about that too. The mind of a child talks about that in the Bible or something. Kingdom of heaven. In order to enter, you got to get back to the sort of the mind of a child. Isn't there some sort of expression like that?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Probably gonna wrap up pretty soon. Not because of anything you did or said, but
yeah. Well, let's end it on this child thought. You getting back? Did you say that you try to get back to that mindset?
No. At a certain point, I had an epiphany to where my perception was that the reason I'd been practicing for many years. When I realized this, I had a perception or an epiphany that I'm actually doing all of these practices, and I'm trying to get back where I was. That I was there, and then through this life and all the things I've learned and been taught, I've fallen away from that. So that the end result of all these practices, as far as I can tell, seems to be to try to get back where I already was, versus just born into this and let's try to ascend, right? Which that could be part of it also, but
right, yeah, because that gets back to what we're saying. You remember what it was.
Well, but it's more of a perception or a knowing, or like an intuition, which is knowledge gained outside of logic and reason, right? I just know a lot of stuff, and so that's why people think I'm intelligent. My IQ's not that high, but I'm very, very intuitive, and when I perceive something intuitively, nobody can convince me that it's not true. It's just I know it, and I'm not going to hear anything to the contrary. I've always been that way, certainly. But listen to this, Brian, real quick. Society, I always heard this growing up, a woman's intuition, which I used that to trick me into thinking, okay, well, I'm a boy, I'm a man, so I can't be intuitive. So part of my early practices was learning to tap into my intuition, and I found it extremely powerful. And we all have access to it. Everybody has access to it, and it's never wrong. Intuition is always right, and it's again, it's knowledge gained outside of logic and reason. I'm not coming to certain conclusions a lot of the time. I'm having epiphanies.
And where in your body would that intuition
well,
come from?
It's associated with the gut, like you mentioned earlier. Yeah, but I have a perception that it's coming into my. It's just appearing as a fully formed concept. It's a perception. So that's why I'm not that smart in the moment, but I've thought a lot about a lot of things. So, and I've put a lot of data in my head. So I continue to have a lot of epiphanies. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And I've had a really good life, man. I had a lot of fun. I'm at peace with, if the end is near, I'm at peace with it, you know. I'm not that attached to this realm, I would say. Although, like everybody else, I'm in no hurry to get out of here necessarily. But I'm also not in a hurry to extend my stay, if that makes sense. And I don't consider it to be a sad thing at all.
Yeah, that's what we could talk about next time, is death and the culture of death. And you could bring up funerals, Western funerals, compared to, say, like a Tibetan type funeral, and how it's sad in one culture and one thing may look not so much in another.
Yeah, man, that'd be dope. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here, and I'm gonna probably wrap up. I might have a couple of things to say, and then we're gonna get out of here.
All right, dude. Stay real, stay black.
I'm half black culturally. I don't know if you know that.
You're half black culturally?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. O'Shea, thanks for being here, brother. Have a great day
I'll
out.
see you later.
Looking forward to talking to you again.
All right.
All right.
See you. Try not to die before tomorrow.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. I'll do my best.
All right. See you later.
Later. All right. That was Mr. O'Shea. Pretty cool of him to stop by. I did want to point out too. I see Snafu in the chat. He said something about that I was going to turn out like some person, and I don't ever know who these people are. I never know who these people are, Snafu. You know why? Because I'm not into people and personalities like you are. I'm into thoughts and ideas, and spiritual work, so called. So I don't know who you're talking about, Snafu, and I have no desire to know. Well, that may be true. I don't know. It's possible, Snafu. What's up, Lou? Lou says you just described me and how I feel when I know nothing can change except hard. Oh, I don't know. That's a little too much for me right now. Yeah, I don't know who that is, Snafu. And I never know who these people are that you mentioned. Whoever that is, I don't know who that is. Now, it sounds like a lady, so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to end up like a lady, Snafu. Yeah, chat busy screaming about dead babies. Yeah, sorry if I'm distracting the chat with my me and O'Shea vibing high, and y'all are talking about dead babies. Maybe that's the balance, right? Like me and O'Shea, as we float off into the we just sort of untethered float off into the nether regions. We've got the chat here, some of the chat here with the dead baby talk to sort of balance that out and keep us here, you know, on the mortal plane, right? There we go. There we go. We're not going biblical, but I do like that because it is topical. Yep. Yep. Good stuff, man. I like that. I like that. I'm playing this Drudge. Well, after I spit all over everything repeatedly. Oh, good to see you, NJ Jeep Girl, by the way. I'm going to play this Drudge clip because I want to, right? So I'm going to play this while I go to the restroom, and I'm going to go downstairs and grab my food that for some reason I did not bring upstairs with me here. It's out in the car. But I want to play this clip, and then I shall return shortly. This is Matt Drudge. Oh, let's make a banner. How about that? Turn my cam off. Give me a second to find this file. My computer started trying to crash, so I had to shut down all my numerous extra windows, so it may take a moment. But I believe I remember. Where the file is. Yes, indeed. There it is. Uh-oh. Here it is. Yes, I found it. One moment. Bear with me.
Leanne McAdoo.
Yep. So this is like 28 minutes.
Smashed them entire.
Back live well into the third hour.
All right. I shall return.
I did not do this as a stunt. Neither did Matt Drudge. He is here. We got a hot mic over there. He wants to stay literally in the shadows behind a curtain. But this is the king of being able to push a story out and make it the #1 story. That he has more readers on politics and news than Facebook, the New York Times, and the Washington Post, LA Times put together. Matt Drudge and his great crew can link to alternative stories, foreign stories, mainstream stories, photos, mugshots, and really just focus on what Matt Drudge thinks is interesting. And the public tends to agree with him that what he focuses in on is really catching the zeitgeist or the pulse of the people. So he might have 50 links every day, where Facebook has 500 million, but he has more traffic. That is the true David versus Goliath story. And this is not scripted. I have no idea where I should go. Why are you in Austin, Texas?
Well, you were just talking about Facebook, and thanks again for having me here. I'm not on Facebook. I don't do the socials. I got that little Twitter thing. Even that's kind of disgusting. You know, I've been doing the internet as long as you've been doing this radio show, Alex. Literally every day, as you have. Literally every day, practically. I think you've taken a little more time off than I have, actually.
Yes, I've kind of gone.
And I can't say that about many people because you are a peer without peer. And I'll tell you, I was there before Facebook. I was there before CNN.com. I was there before mostly all of them. I have a very clear perception what the internet is. In my mind, I'm free. I'm not defined by what they say the internet is. Meaning Goldman Sachs, meaning who they invest in for the latest startup, meaning the latest BuzzFeed or Salon or Gawker. Well, Gawker's more independent. But there's a lot of corporate makeover of the internet that I have not adapted to. Simply put, I'm friends with some of them. When I go to New York, I make the 6th Avenue rounds. But I am not a part of that system. I am a free thinker. I'm an American. I'm very concerned with what's happening. So I just give it my all. I've learned how to take care of myself and detach from outcomes, because otherwise you can't survive. I have remained completely independent from all of them. All of them. I am not influenced by any of them. I need no traffic from Google. I don't care if I get one traffic referral from Google or Bing or Yahoo or any of these others. It's always been that way. Now, if you think of that setup, how rare that is, because everybody's so hungry for referrals, for likes. I don't need to be liked. I don't need to be liked at all. I don't care if there's a button right there at the top of Drudge saying like or dislike. Thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't mean anything. Now, I hope that you come. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to like what I have up there.
I know you're saying you're nonpartisan. I mean, I would guess you're more libertarian. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're just a freedom guy.
I can't be controlled. I cannot be controlled. There are no interests here but what I see as the world events. Period. That is the truth of the situation.
Well, they hate the fact that they can't control the agenda. The Pentagon has briefings with the head of PSYOPs, as you know, saying we've got to stop Drudge changing the subject and showing when we're lying. I mean, that's when you know. That's crazy town. When you get, what is it like? Is it surreal to think back to something you started back in the early 90s is now grown into this?
Well, no, because it's been every day. So it just like, it's happened so organically. It started with one reader. I don't know who that one reader was, but it started with one reader. I've never placed an ad anywhere, ever. This has all been a true organic reader to reader to reader to reader. Yes, I dabbled in the corporate with the Fox News show and the Clear Channel radio show for 9 years. But even that, the website was on its own terms and remains so to this very minute.
Well, you've only gotten bigger since you stopped.
Well, I don't know, because this is another thing. The measurements that we have, this is another bogus thing. Yesterday, they released on the APA wire, Twitter followers. Hillary is the queen of the Twitters with 4.9 million. They don't say how many are fake. They don't say how many are
They
droid.
admit the first lady's is like 80% fake.
Well, no, the AP did not do that, Alex. So this whole thing, this whole socials, these socials, you know, Beats One Music, which I'm obsessed with, which has been launched on Apple, which is probably one of the best things they've done since Steve Jobs died. One radio station. Interesting. They don't know how many listeners they have. I heard some streams they were down to 5,000 an hour. This whole social media stuff is bogus. Facebook, we have 2 billion users. This is garbage. This is designed to demoralize the individual. I'll never have 2 billion followers. The internet is what you make of it. It's the same battle as it was in the beginning. I remember having this argument with Britt Hume once live on C-SPAN. He goes, oh, the internet's all UFOs and all this crap. And I said, no, the internet is what you make of it. In the beginning, they were dismissing the internet. They were poo-pooing it.
And isn't that good for us that for so long they were in arrogant denial? And they seem like they still kind of are in arrogant denial.
No, now they make it over in their image. Now it's these endless, monotonous tweets. Meaningless. Meaningless. To me, it's just a lot of gnats, a lot of confusion. When the reality of the situation is life on Earth has not changed. We need facts. We need events. We need specifics on things. Not all this confusion. It's almost they've made the internet over in their image, these corporations. And I think they're failing.
Skip the break. Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead. I had to interrupt. You say you think they're failing?
I think they're failing. To the point, this is a whole nother discussion on how sick are the American people right now. I've been saying they could put Hillary Clinton's brain in a jar in the Oval Office and she'd be elected. People are really sick. I think you know this deep in your soul, and this is why you get demoralized here on this very set.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah.
People are sick. How they got here, you've been on a wonderful arc over almost decades now, explaining why people are and have become so sick. That being said, people are willing to be made over in the image of these corporations. The reason there's so much anger online also is a newspaper like the Washington Post will leave a comment section. They don't care what you're saying. They don't care what you're thinking. That's why you get this anger that, oh, I have to be, I'm out here as a citizen and I'm operating in their playground. Make your own playground. The reason I'm here, Alex, is you've made your own playground. This is a figment of your imagination. And the Drudge Report is mine. It is a very simple thesis. You are what you dream you are and become. And I wish Americans would get out of the sickness and just become greater. And
well, that's profound. I mean, because if we start creating our own maps, our own world, our own vision, then there's no way for these cultural tyrants to program us. And that's why they're pushing so hard to get more outrageous. I mean, is this the beginning of the end?
And to operate in their playgrounds. So you become famous on YouTube. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the 13-year-old that just died that they're saying is the first YouTube star that died. You're playing in Google's hell pit.
No, I agree, but I've
make your own place. Make your own. The internet allows you to make your own dynamic, your own universe. Why are you gravitating towards somebody else's universe? And this is kind of, again, where Drudge to me, when I look at it right now, is a correction to this groupthink that has...
Oh, I totally agree with what you're saying.
There's no difference from any of these websites. You go up and down. We talk about this. What's the difference between the websites? Between a Slate or a Salon or a BuzzFeed or a HuffPo? What is the difference? There isn't any. And this is a travesty. It's almost like a weird conglomerate of groupthink that has developed in a dynamic era that should be vibrating. It should be vibrating. It should be controversial. But I guess it's fear. And not everybody is cut from the same genetic background as you or I, Alex, of being brave and being able to stand up. You're on the camera. I'm not. You're more brave than I am. So this is the dynamic that I'm in. I would just like to wake people up. Stop operating in their playground. Stop it.
Well, let me say this. I totally agree with you. I've tried. I couldn't pay for the bandwidth to put all of our videos out on our own platforms. Now we're doing that at prisonplanet.tv and the Nightly News and putting ourselves up on television to reach people because it's kind of like jacking into the Matrix, going into their playground. I try to then claw them over here to see what we're trying to do, what you're trying to do. But I totally agree with you. The answer is for all of us to create our own systems, our own ideas, because vibrant, independent ideas will trump this corporate plastic Borg, this brainwashing they're trying to push. I mean, banning father and mother, banning the word husband and wife. I mean, that's so cultic that if I'd have been told 10 years ago they were going to ban words like that, I wouldn't have believed it. They do it with straight faces. I mean, has the left, and of course the controlled right as well, but have they gone collectively insane on a control freak bent, or is there a strategy?
I would also advise people to not waste their time on this. I had a Supreme Court justice tell me to my face, it's over for me. I said, Matt, it's over for you. They've got the votes now to enforce copyright law. You're out of there. They're going to make it so headlines you can't even use headlines. To have a Supreme Court justice say that to my face, that it's over. They've got the votes, which means time is limited. Time is not forever. How many more moons and sunrises will you see in your life? Rise and fall. There's not that many. It's a small amount. So for people to be saying with this attitude, oh, I'll get on with my life and my greatness sometime. No, you can't.
We're being enslaved now, and that's it. Under the TPP, they admit you can't put a headline to the New York Times. You're sending massive traffic to them. They're claiming you're taking their words. This is insane.
And you had the Justice Stephen Breyer said we need to look at a global law now. Remember just recently.
Getting lined up with it.
So they're getting ready for these decisions to come. You thought Obamacare was shocking. You thought some of these other decisions were shocking. Wait until these copyright laws work their way up. And the Supreme Court decides you cannot have a website with news headlines linking across the board. Then that will end for me. Fine, I've had a hell of a run. It's 20 years next year. We're 20 years about now. Hell of a run. I couldn't have gone any farther. I feel completely, I have gone as far out of the galaxy as I can on this. I still want to stay out here, but I've gone pretty damn far for what one individual can do in this culture. But I'm talking about the future. So I don't know why they've been successful in pushing everybody into these little ghettos of these Facebooks and these tweets and these Instagrams, these Instas. This is ghetto. This is ghetto. This is corporate. They're taking your energy. They're taking your energy, and you're getting nothing in return. I'm here to say, and this is the reason why I came to see you, Alex, is you are one of the very few who are operating under this theory to be an independent American. In a big way. If your calling is media, fine. If your calling is sports, whatever it is, but you've got to be the greatest you can be now, before this country is so completely fractured, and we're left with Hillary's brain in the Oval Office in a jar, because that's what we're getting. She's old and she's sick. She's not a contender. They're making her a contender with these propped up Saturday Night Live things. It's like a head on a stick. And then on the Today Show with the Gun 3, a head on a stick. She is not a viable, vibrant leader for this country of 300, including the illegals, 380 million Americans. So the media is trying to put us to sleep. You're not letting them, Alex.
Let me ask you this question, Matt. Yeah. Is the establishment, which we know is diverse, but there's different conglomerates, is it panicking? Is it trying to push everything through right now because it knows people are waking up? Or is it just completely arrogant and thinks it's invincible?
It's trying to consolidate control, yes, and there is a sense of panic about it. You look at a Telemundo or a Univision, they're kind of panicked. You look at some of these interviews that are happening this election cycle where Trump comes along, says a few things, just a few things, and soars to the top of the list. That's profound. Imagine if we actually had a good selection of candidates who were saying a lot. And I know Cruz and Rand and all the rest. However, you've got to be dynamic in this atmosphere, and it's a media country. You've got to be dynamic in media. That's the only thing that's going to work. So I am left with thinking there's not a lot of time to be your greatest self, especially online, because if it continues to get consolidated to this degree, and then we're moving into the robots, which you're so profound on, and it's going to get really ugly really fast. There's already automated news sites, Google News, hello anybody. They actually, the idiots reading that crap think there is actually a human there. There is no human there. You are being programmed to being automated, even up to your news. And Apple News, I don't know what that's about. That was also creepy. A same corporate glaze over everything. I don't see the world that way. I live in a world that's free, colorful, vibrant, takes chances, bold, stands up to power. And that's where I made my success. I'm just warning this country that, yes, don't get into this false sense that you are an individual when you're on Facebook. No, you're not. You're a pawn in their scheme. But still, I felt just myself, I felt it was just more powerful to go to the web, plus not to necessarily be playing in their playground. Because the power of the individual, as you represent sitting there right now, is powerful. To the heart. I said to Paul Joseph Watson when I saw him in London, which you just referred to a year ago, you're a romantic figure, Alex, in Americana. It's romantic what you do here every day. It just is. This is romance because you're an American standing up, tough, facing these headwinds. Wow, are they blowing? But you're there, and and you're not alone. Limbaugh, Savage, Hannity, Levin. There's a lot of people on the airwaves who are as brave. They are brave, and they are living it. I've met them all. I'm friends with them all. They are also operating against the grain in an America that needs to go back to that.
Do you think that humanity's going to be successful and make it the next 100 years?
Oh, the 100 years? Well, of course, unless Mother Nature decides. You know, I'm a big fan of letting Mother Nature decide some of this, too. You know, we can't control a lot of this. There is a law to the universe. There just is. Mother Nature decides. So will we survive? I'm sure we will. What will we be not allowed to speak as we are today? Well, we'll have it documented that we were allowed to speak that way once. So I don't know. Am I optimistic? For myself, personally, yes, I'm strong. There's not much they can do. They could laser beam me. They could drone me. They can plutonium me. They could do whatever they want. But spiritually, I'm set. I've already got it. So they can't do much. I just wish there was more media that was trailblazing and independent. And this, to me, is a big danger right now in this setup, is you've got these corporations like the New York Times and the Amazon now with the Washington Post and Time Warner, and all of them seem to be the same. This is what's frightening. And there's so much news in the course of the day. And the reason I think the Drudge Report is interesting every morning is it's not exactly the same as you would see elsewhere. And that's because I'm not involved with other people. I'm looking at the world through my eyes, and that's what you're seeing. With bravery, and with the ability to do it, because the ability to do it, what you've created here with one listener one day that went to 10 listeners, that went to 50 to now your millions, was organically grown. I've been traveling a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of desperation everywhere, a lot of sad desperation. I was just in an airport, and even down to this, a woman selling Southwest Airlines credit cards, standing like a robot. Have you signed up yet? Are you a member of the club? It was tragic. This is a mature woman with a beautiful face and life, and I'm like, how did she get there? What has happened to this culture that she's now standing as a robot like this? They are sucking our ability to make an income that is compatible with what you need to. So I'm getting a little frightened as I travel. On the other side of it, when I go to New York and I see some of the billionaires, it's the other side, endless. You know, they're fighting over pieces of artwork. It's gotten to the point where the have and the have-nots here is breaking. So
and it's the billionaires that are mainly funding the whole leftist redistribution movement because they end up getting the money in corporate welfare and insider deals. It's so sick. I watched a great film. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's The Best of Enemies about Gore Vidal and William F. Buckley. Have you seen that yet?
No.
You've got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows Gore Vidal arguing, saying the answer.
Oh, and by the way, why are we not allowed to have a Gore Vidal, William Buckley anymore in the media scene? Do you see who they hire? Do you see who's hired for the shows? How dull they are?
Yes.
Dull. Dull as dishwater.
They want you to tune out of politics and in entertainment.
Yes, they make it. Where are the flamboyant characters? This is what America desperately needs right now. Flamboyant, intellectual characters who can cut different ways. And that's just what I'm missing. I've been fortunate enough to meet some of the greats of this generation. And I've got to tell you, they are there. It's just they are suppressed and hidden, and they're not hired the way Gore Vidal and Buckley were back in previous generation. They were not afraid of ideas. This generation is frightened of ideas, or at least it's being suppressed.
Matt, in the 2 minutes we've got left, it's amazing to have you here. What else do you think is front and center in the universe? In the last 2 minutes here, what do you want to say to the audience and to the dinosaur media that is going to gleefully try to edit this and chop this up and I guess use it for their funeral pyre?
Well, they're welcome to. Again, they've got no control over the situation. None. No control. No control over me. Sorry. Zero. I wanted to congratulate you. You were and people don't really talk about this. You were one of the first to stream 24 hours a day. And I think the reason I was drawn into InfoWars was because of the streaming. This is a profound break that you did to allow the audience to hear you at any time, to make it available at any time, from anywhere, looping until the next broadcast. This is a profound thing you did. I don't think that's recognized enough in the industry. I'm just talking shop talk here for a second. That was big. Because what you're seeing with the AM dial now, and I'm not besmirching any stations that are carrying this right now, but some of these ratings are frightening. Some of these ratings in these major cities are frightening. I'm talking about half the listeners, generally overall, for every talk host. Some of them are down a half in 1 year. Something is going on, but you broke through with this 24-hour looping, always available. On my happiest nights, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you from wherever I am in the world. Looping, getting it. And the guests. This is a profound shift. Available anytime, from anywhere.
Well, that was
like you, Alex.
That was like 12 years ago. I said, why do we just send the stream out once and then wait for a podcast to come up before they even called it podcast, which is an MP3.
So organically yet again, another organically grown decision that changed the media landscape.
Well, sure. And I said, why not just have, I don't want to just have, because I was one of the first, people were doing this 20 years ago, Limbaugh was probably the first, with a little, pod cam, took a photo every minute or something. I said, why don't we just put cameras in here so I can show people articles, show them photos, show them books, and even show them video clips, and then we'll start streaming it.
And by the way, Limbaugh was genius for doing that because he bypassed broadcast. He didn't have to hook up with a Fox or a CNN to show him in real time. He was able to bypass that. And I think there was some cams for radio shows before that, but he did it on the larger scale. But what you did by breaking the mold, whatever you said that day, like, why don't we loop it? I can't tell you how that's changed.
Well,
And I would say the majority of your listeners have, and will discover you through the looping and the broadcast, because now we can drive around and listen to you without the streaming, even though it seems like the streaming is where things are going. I got to say, when you broke the egg there, when you cracked the egg, that was a big one. That was a Stanley Kubrick moment of the bone going up. What you did with that one. So that was.
Well, I don't think it's as big as the bones you've been throwing up that turn into the spaceships, but I tell you, it's amazing to just have the diverse audience that tunes in to hear me babble, speak of the devil, like people like Stanley Kubrick's daughter and folks that have popped up too. And you're like, you check it out, and this is really Stanley Kubrick's daughter that helped make some of his films. It just blows your mind.
By the way, if Stanley Kubrick was alive, can you imagine? Can you imagine where he would have gone? He would have done some great work.
Oh,
we're missing the Hollywood push too. Where's the greatness coming out of Hollywood?
They want it dumbed down. I've talked to top.
Enough of the Martian crap. Telling something big and real and profound, as Kubrick would have, on a human level.
Well, I'm not allowed to say what I was told about Kubrick, but let me say it was obvious from his films he was be on board with us.
Spielberg keeps going back to World War II. I mean, enough already. Let's get focused. I look at a P.T. Anderson, and I don't know, it's kind of gone into a marijuana cloud for me. Where are the artists who are challenging this generation like Kubrick did? So that's another topic separately. But anyway.
Well, we're going to break in 1 minute. We're going to air John Bound's report, come back. And who's hosting the fourth hour today? I'm so thunderstruck that David Knight's got a bunch coming up. And obviously we need to get clips of this epic interview, play those, and put those out on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And Matt, how fast do you think? Here's what's crazy. 5 years ago, I cared if mainstream media wrote stories against us, or I cared if I was on Nightline or something. You've been in more big stuff than I have. Now it doesn't even do anything when I'm on those shows. That's why I know that they don't mean anything. And so we should end with this. You were the guy who tweeted, at least from what I saw, at Piers Morgan 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, to say, have Alex Jones on, debate him.
Matchmaker. Yeah, behind the scenes, people don't know this about me. I'm a matchmaker behind the scenes. That I've had the ability to make some deals happen and do some things behind the scenes. Now, I never met Piers Morgan, but I do believe that tweet that day did lead to that. You're right.
Well, no, they told me in his office. They said, what do you think of Matt Drudge's idea? Because they got my cell phone number and called me, and CNN had it. And I said,
which ended up being the most dramatic moment on CNN in a generation.
They admit that. They have votes and say that.
That's why they need to hire people away from 6th Avenue just to look at the scene. I remember once saying to Charlie Rose, why aren't you have more conservatives on it? He says, who? And, there's a whole list of them. Why are they limiting themselves? Because you would say it's it's a contrived plan to limit. But I still think to make provocative programming, you got to have different points of view, a la the Buckley and Gore Vidal. Where is that in this culture? It's missing. I get it from InfoWars. I get it from other places too, mainly talk radio. Talk radio seems to be the driving force of this culture, at least in spoken word. I'm not getting it from television that much. I'm just not. Where are the intriguing television shows? I mean, you can say Homeland, you can say some of these others. Okay, yes. But where are the real dynamic things that are pushing?
Well, let's expand on that. Piers Morgan had a ratings boost of about 30-40% for 2 weeks after that. Then it went down, steadily declined, and they got rid of him. CNN knows that if they put my commentary on or your commentary, others, tens of millions would tune in to watch it. They know that. They have to control the narrative because it's an agenda, even if it's self-defeating and destroying them. So where do you think that ends up going? Them attempting to censor us?
Well, it all depends if the sick Americans get unsick. That's all. That's all you just have to do. Because if you get well, you're not that interested in what Anderson Cooper is saying about things. You're just not. I'm sorry. Incredible. I don't mean to be insulting. If you're sick, you find comfort in that.
What are your final words?
What are your final words? These are the last words ever spoken on earth? These are the final words?
Yes, George Washington says, "'Tis well."
Well, again, I just wanted to come to congratulate you from building organically from the ground up.
Thank you.
A media that is not only American, it's just Western. It's not even Western, it's just freedom. I can imagine somebody right now listening to us who's sitting in a prison cell somewhere awful, thinking about freedom. So congratulations to you. More power to you. Take care of yourself.
Leanne McAdoo referred to in the clips that you just heard.
All right, what's happening? We back. I did want to respond a little bit to, I forget the guy's name now. He came on before as Primal Jihad, the guy who was trying to take me to task about the way I eat. And, something I noticed about him was I was making logical points, counterpoints to what he was saying, and he would just not accept the validity of what I was saying. So he would just, if I referred to the medical system or someone having some sort of medical condition, he would just dismiss the entirety of the medical system, right? And I can't have a conversation with somebody like that. People like that are welcome to listen and welcome to tune in, but I am not interested in speaking directly to people like that, because when I say something, and I actually learned this with my second wife by observing our patterns, and I realized at a certain point that when I said something that she didn't want to deal with, or that it ran counter to whatever she was trying you know, whatever she was trying to do, she always and immediately had a counter to it. But that was dismissive of what I was saying. But she wasn't smart enough to, in, you know, a millisecond, come up with this thing that she could spit out of her mouth, right? It's an intentional strategy of dismissal, and that's what I saw with Anglo Elite. And apparently that is a real person. We thought he was Toilet Bowl Earth for a while, but he showed, at least there was a camera showing a person. I mean, I don't know if that was him or not, but I'm not going to spend my time talking to people. I say something valid and they just immediately dismiss it out of hand without considering that I might actually know what in the fuck I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, clicked the wrong button, of course. I forget I'm on StreamYard. You're not gone, Benton. You're still here. How about you shut down the stream? Okay. Stop.